Oh, goodness. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday, date night tonight. I'm looking forward to it. It's good to see you. My daughter came in right when I was starting, and she decided she wanted to do the microphone check today. So there you go. That was my daughter doing the microphone check. Glad y'all got to meet her today. She likes being on a microphone. Woke up sick today, but now she's saying she doesn't even feel sick, so we'll see. Best mic check ever. Yeah, thank you. Good to see you guys. We got a hell of an outline for you today. I've got a whole bunch of information. We'll get to that here momentarily. And then, like I said at the beginning, just a reminder, we do have date night with Admir tonight. So those of you who are on TikTok today, I'm going to do my very best not to get banned off of TikTok on today's show. You never know. But in order to help us with that, because I get out of pocket, make sure as you're rolling in, hit that like button. Share this with your favorite. I used to say favorite or least favorite Republican friends. I don't care. Share it with your other friends. Share it with people who like you, need a place to go every day to get some news with a splash of ADHD. So share this out as much as you can, and then make sure, just as always a reminder, our HR rep over there at TikTok needs a little bit of money too. And so as you guys send gifts, remember that part of that goes to paying the HR rep, part of it goes to pay TikTok, and part of it goes to pay us in thirds. So if you're watching on TikTok and you like that we're here on TikTok, please just make sure that you're gifting over there. And mods, if you will remind people, and I'll try and remind people too, it'll be a wonderful, beautiful day in Arizona and wherever you are, however you may be listening. Thanks for making us part of your day. It's just wonderful, absolutely wonderful to be here. How are you guys? I didn't change my background. My bad. Thank you, Amanda, for the gifted memberships. Sully said for Jay's daughter, she'll love that. I'll take her to the toy store later. We used to go to Target. Can't even go to Target anymore. So, I don't know. We got to find some local store somewhere around here to get some. I guess we'll just do Amazon. That's probably what we'll do. We'll get her a toy a little bit later. Thanks, Sully. And as a reminder to everybody, we are crowdfunded. Sully just showed you there, and we rely on your generosity. We have a gift goal every day. If you can help us accomplish that gift goal every day, it goes a long ways. Reminder that tonight with Admir is not subscriber only. That's always for everybody. Thursday night, I'll be on with Raging Tomato. It's an open panel versus me. That will be subscriber only. So make sure that you are a paid subscriber either on YouTube, Twitch, or TikTok. And if you're on Twitch or TikTok, just make sure you reach out to Jen or any of our moderators so that we can get you in the Discord so you can watch that with us. And then I have another... I have another debate. I don't have a date on it yet. With you guys may remember Rob Noor. Did I know my background kept clipping in and out during the Andrew debate? Yeah, I saw that. That was weird. I think actually when I would click certain buttons, it would do that. But I'll be debating Rob Noor. I think Noor again. I debated him a long time ago. We probably have it up on the YouTube channel. It was a bizarre debate. I don't know. He was definitely streaming from a basement somewhere, and like in the middle of a debate, he just walked away. Like he responded to me, and then when it was my turn to respond to him, he just like walked into the kitchen and started making food, like without headphones. He put his headphones down. He just walked into the kitchen, made some food, and I just went silent. And actually, I think I talked to the audience. And then he came back and he started talking. I was like, "Oh, I haven't made my argument yet." This is weird. That's who we're gonna debate. Can't remember. Let me look at what the topic suggestion was. Pull up my messages real quick. Let's see. First they asked for a prompt, and I'm like, I'm not doing this shit. I'm not writing out a prompt now. I know how we're working this. Like they can do a prompt, and I'll go attack their prompt. Because of that, we have settled on. I think he chose we're better off having elected Trump than Kamala, which is going to be weird. But I guess I'm going to say that we would have been better off if we had chosen Kamala, which I agree with. So I'll figure out what arguments I'm going to come up with that. But that'll be TBD. It was scheduled for the 26th, and then I guess Rob's going to be out of town during that time, so I'm not sure. If there's other people you want me to debate, feel free to reach out to them. I'm happy to go debate it basically anytime, any place. Frankie said, let's get this party started. I agree with that. Let me pull up my phone here so I don't miss any of your messages, and then we'll get going. That one. All right, got it. We're going to define better. Somebody tweeted at Raging Tomato that they should have us debate again, me and Andrew again, but this time with a little, I don't remember, something like with a little more structure. And that was like, define structure. That's going to be the joke forever. What do you mean by better? What do you mean by mean? What do you mean by what? It's a real question. All right, let's jump into it. It's shout out to everybody in New York. Shit's happening in New York for you guys. This has got to be Mom Donnie's fault. I can only imagine. Footage coming out from the flooding of the New York subways yesterday. I don't know if I'm on this subway, New Yorkers are a different breed, man. I'm just getting off the subway right now. You're at the water's coming in and you're at the bottom. I'm leaving. I'm not staying here for this, but these folks in New York are just like, fuck it, I got to get to work, so I'm going to deal with this flooding.
Oh man, somebody needs a diaper.
Anyways, I hope you guys are doing all right. If you're out in New York, what did you say? I got a notification that Parker had to put his dog down today. Okay, that's what that was. I saw that he was crying yesterday on a live. I was scrolling through. I couldn't figure out what he was crying about. That's devastating. That's brutal. I'll send in our love to Parker today. I did kind of shit on Parker and Dean, mostly Dean yesterday though, so it's bad timing. It was like right after I don't remember what I said that was critical of Dean, but right after that, I scrolled through and I saw them. I'm like, oh man, they're crying today. I picked the worst day possible to say mean things about him. I also want to show you a different angle of Trump at the FIFA Club World Cup, where once again the folks from Chelsea brought home the title. Here is a different view of Trump bringing in the trophy, and you can see how hard they're trying to get him out of this picture and how this dumb old man just has no clue. And once again, I do want to point out that these are soccer players, and Trump is allegedly 6'3", and the man holding the trophy is 5'11". Here you go. 5'11", 6'3", 5'11". I don't know. And now this guy, I think the president of FIFA, is going to try and get Trump over. He's going to try and be like, hey, you're coming with me. Trump is having none of it. He has no clue what's going on right now. He's just so happy to be around people that are happy. Go this way. I just thought that was funny. He's just a silly old man. The other story is allegedly, I think this is confirmed by Chelsea and by FIFA. He took the trophy. So there's two trophies. There's the one, there's like the replica and the real one. And apparently Trump took the real trophy with him and is apparently thinks he's going to keep the trophy, which is just, again, like, this isn't even like a Trump thing. This is a don't elect 80-year-old men to be president. Like, Biden probably would have done this same thing. Can we stop electing like fossils to be president? That would be great. That'd be terrific. He's just clearly such an old man right there, and clearly not 6'3". I also came across. We're gonna have to edit this out in the replay. So sorry if you're watching this on the replay, but one of my favorite SNL skits they ever did, it was Bill Hader, and it was what is it? What's My Name? I think is the name of this game show they did, and it was with John Mulaney the first time, but sobriety John Mulaney, and he just like they brought out like his best friend's girlfriend, and John Mulaney didn't know their name, and this time they put a little political spin on this, and I have to admit, had I not seen a video, had I not covered a clip of this guy, I think like last week, it's likely I would not have remembered his name.
This is the most important election in American history. Democracy is on the line.
Great. Our next question is for $300,000. And here to ask it is the man himself.
I was Hillary Clinton's vice presidential running mate. At the time, you said it was the most important election in American history, and that democracy was on the line. It's been less than 8 years. What's my name?
Just be honest. Put your hand up in the chat if you don't know who that is. Just be honest. It's okay. I'm admitting it. I think a lot of us admit it. He's not memorable. Just put your hand up if you don't know who that is. No clue. Yeah. I think Lieberman. There we go. Don't say the name. Just put your hand up if you don't know. There we go.
Hi, it is an honor.
You voted for me to be one heartbeat away from the Oval Office in an election more recent than the release of Zootopia. What's my name?
It's not my fault if he was a more memorable guy like Tim Walz.
This is very much a guy like Tim Walz. Let's see them side by side. Wow. Not only does he look exactly like Tim Walz, his name was also Tim.
Really? His name was Tim?
My name is still Tim. I exist. I'm a senator representing Virginia.
Of course you are. I'll give you 3 options for what his last name was. Tim Clinton, Tim, or Tim Scott.
Oh, 2 of those don't sound real. I'll go with Tim.
Audience, what's that name?
Tim Scott!
It's Tim Kaine.
Who is?
Me.
Oh. Well, God bless you.
All right, that was embarrassing, but you know what? Honestly, for me, it's not about the candidates. They come and go. What matters are the real Americans whose lives are at stake.
Great transition. In June of 2020, our country had a racial reckoning. You bravely tweeted the names of 12 victims of police violence with the hashtag #RememberTheirNames, preemptively scolding us for forgetting their names. Pal of mine. If you can remember one of those 12 names,
George Floyd.
besides George Floyd, you'll walk out of here richer than the pharaohs. Give him a 10-minute clock.
10 minutes.
Tamika Nolans?
Tamika, New Orleans? Jesus Christ, why not even guess?
I appreciated that. That was a great skit. There you go. What's up, Exotic Veteran? Good to see you. Good to see you this morning. Anyway, I thought it was great. M. Scott said, that's Gerard Butler's butler. Amanda said, can you define harm? Apparently not. M. Scott said, can you define? How is that moral? Amy Lynn said, what do you mean by better? Johnny Longtrail, hey, buddy. How are you? Says hello to everybody. And Frank, I think I got that one already. Anyways, thanks SNL for starting that off for us. I couldn't believe this. I swear to God. Let me just tell you what happened. I'm scrolling through Twitter. I come across this clip of Donald Trump telling an obviously true story, because when he bends his body like that, it's an obviously true story. Here's Donald Trump telling this story.
We thought we had a deal. Numerous times I'd get home, I'd say, First Lady, I had the most wonderful talk with Vladimir. I think we're finished. And then I'll turn on the television, or she'll say to me one time, wow, that's strange because they just bombed a nursing home. I said, what? So we don't like that. We thought we had.
First of all, he is not talking to the First Lady when he gets home. She's not there. Secondly, it is weird that he's like, I got off the phone with Vlad, and she's like, yeah, he keeps fucking up, and he's like, oh man, that's surprising. That part might be worse. That he's like, I trusted Vlad. I don't know why Vladimir Putin would lie to me. That's crazy. I trusted him. And it was a throwaway clip for me. I was like, I didn't even add this to the timeline or to the outline because I'm like, kind of corny. Like, who cares? People are gonna get cheap laughs over this. I don't want to get cheap laughs. So then I was struggling last night before I had the outline all the way built, and I was like, I wonder. Let me just go over to Fox News and see, because it seems like a slow news day. Sometimes I'll go to Fox because there's like, there'll be a blind spot for me. There'll be something I didn't see. And occasionally I'll go to Fox and I'll find a story that I haven't seen before. And I swear to God, this is a real story on Fox News. This throwaway clip was the headline story last night when I went to Fox News. It was foxnews.com, enter this story. Right in the front and center of all the things that are going on with all the Epstein stuff, with all the polling I'm going to show you guys later, all the stuff that's going on. Fox News headline, Trump reveals Melania's key role in dealing with Putin on the Ukraine war. And the key role that she played was, he just bombed somebody again. That was her key role. It's a real story. This was a front page. President Trump on Monday suggested that First Lady Melania Trump convinced him that Russian President Vladimir Putin has continually backed out of his promises over a possible peace deal with Ukraine. We've all been saying it. We've been saying it since 2017, I guess. But finally, it was Melania Trump who pointed at the television and said, hey, he's bombing shit again. And Trump's like, oh, God, you're telling me all this time Vlad wasn't being honest? Can't hardly believe it. But that was the top story on Fox News yesterday when I went to, I don't know if it's still, let's see if it's still on the front page. Get rid of that. Okay. What the fuck is going on at Fox? This is worse. Patriotic priorities. Hegseth yanks Pentagon officials from forum showing disdain for our great country. I don't even know what this is. I have to click on this now. What the fuck are we talking about here? What is we're going to get an ad here because it's Fox. Yeah.
Quaker Chewy Bars.
Make sure to get your Quaker Chewy Bars. This is a good reminder that you don't have to buy Quaker Chewy Bars. You can just support us directly. All right, what does Hegseth say?
You don't get peace without the strength part. And that's my department. The strength department. And
it is the Defense Department, but I see.
so I actually think we lead at the Defense Department or maybe the soon-to-be the Department of War.
They're laughing about that because Trump accidentally called him it was the Department of War. And so now they're joking about that because we can't ever just say Trump made a mistake. We have to then be like, oh, we're considering it.
For all the right reasons, we lead the biggest peace department in the world. Our job is to be strong and ready and lethal so that you never have to use us. And if you use us, our capabilities are so overwhelming, our threat so looming, that we're able to conclude that mission swiftly and violently to the interests of the United States, or not have to use us at all.
Didn't he get his ass kicked by the Houthis? I don't know about this bloviating right now. There was a sneak attack on Iran with planes that are invisible, according to Donald Trump, because of their wing shape. It makes them invisible. You can't see them because of their wing shape. But I do know that the Houthis kind of fucked us up a little bit.
So the peace is preserved and deterrence sticks. And I'll never forget President Trump, when he chose me for this job,
he called me at Fox News because I was working as a weekend anchor at Fox News.
He said to me, he said, Pete, you're going to have to be tough. I can't even say the word. Because it's a young crowd, 15, 16, tough as you know what. Tough as you know what. And I said, yes, sir. And boy, was he right. But the next thing he said to me was, Pete, I need you to restore the warrior ethos.
No chance he said that. There's no fucking chance Trump said ethos. Warrior ethos is a Hegseth thing. Trump has never uttered the words warrior ethos ever. That's a lie.
I needed you to get the military
back. He said, Pete, sober up for a second. He said, Pete, did you get that to NDA signed? Did you get that lady to sign that NDA yet? He said, Pete, how come all your Fox News workers are saying that you're a raging alcoholic? He said, Pete, how many more women do you plan on impregnating while you're married? He said, Pete, dope fucking pocket square.
To basics. We were distracted. Absolutely. Our military, under previous administrations, especially Obama, but then Joe Biden more recently, were distracted by experiments, effectively, in ideology, in social justice, in social engineering, in climate change, and take DEI, CRT, genderism, you name it. Influences were pushed into our formations.
Oh, no! Not climate change! No! Not gender! No!
In ways that made doing our job that much more complicated and difficult.
It was so hard.
So from day one, we have declared that DEI is dead at DOD.
They pushed it into our formations, and we tightened our anus, and we pushed back slowly. The shit you guys are afraid of blows my fucking mind. It blows my... You're warriors. You go into foreign lands, and people shoot at you. You're like, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of death? No. What are you afraid of? Fucking climate change liars. People who tell me that the climate's changing. That's the real enemy. Not these bullets whizzing by my head. It's them fucking scientists.
We're going back to gender neutral, colorblind, merit-based.
I'm sorry, gender neutral? We're doing gender neutral in the military right now? Are we gender abolitionists in the military now? All their bathrooms are going to be gender neutral right now? Uh-oh. He went so far right, he came back woke. Now we're doing gender neutrality in the military. Sounds woke to me. Uh-oh. Pete, come back. You went too far right.
Performance standards. We do readiness, we do accountability, we do war fighting, we do lethality. We don't do social experiments. We don't do politics.
Bitch, you are on, what? All you do is politics. What are you talking about, Pete Hegseth? Bro, you're at Turning Point USA. You're doing that's all you do. You do politics every day. You're the most political Secretary of Defense in the history of our country, and it's not fucking close. And you've only been there 6 months. You're doing politics right now. This thing you're doing on this stage, this is politics, Pete. We don't do politics, he says in front of a paid crowd of at a political action committee event. But we're not doing politics.
I don't care in my formations. I mean, I have my political views and you have yours. But I don't care in my formation if you're a Republican or a Democrat.
Yeah, you do.
Do you love the country? Have you sworn oath to defend the Constitution? And how good are you at your job? And my job is for you to be prepared in that mission. That's it. It's a back to basics moment, and we've seen the response from young Americans like this crowd has been historic. Recruiting months and months ahead of where it's been under the previous administration. By the way, under the previous administration, they lowered the recruiting goals so they could look like they were filling the ranks, but they actually couldn't even meet the lowered recruiting goals.
Somebody want to explain to me how No New Wars is also, like, it also goes, we have to recruit more people than ever for our No New Wars. Can somebody explain this ideology to me? It doesn't make any fucking sense. Why do we need to spend more on the military and recruit more on the military and establish a warrior ethos and focus on lethality if we are the No New Wars party? Somebody just please explain that to me. Doesn't it seem like we should get people, we should spend money on, like, I don't know, like creating peace around the world? Yeah, but we're going to do that by fucking bombing everybody. Oh, okay.
And this administration, with higher recruiting goals, we're beating them 4 to 5 months ahead of time.
Cool.
Because the American people want to serve.
Cool. All right, so this
They
was...
want to serve under a commander-in-chief that has their back.
Hegseth touts DEI is dead at DOD. I don't even know. Hegseth abruptly pulls Pentagon officials from globalists. What is he? Okay, that video just doesn't cover what he's saying. There's the Aspen Security Conference. Pulled senior Defense Department officials from the Aspen Security Conference for promoting the evil of globalism. Military commanders were set to speak at that conference, which begins on Tuesday, as has been tradition. But Pentagon spokesperson Kingsley Wilson, that's the widest fucking name, Kingsley Wilson, just told Just the News the Secretary's office believes the conference promotes the evil of globalism, disdain for our great country, and hatred for the President of the United States. I'm not going to come speak there if you guys aren't going to support our genocide over in Palestine. I'm not coming. That's globalism. God, he's a bitch. He's such a stupid bitch. Pete Hegseth can go fuck himself. All right. Sorry, that was a distraction. I wasn't supposed to cover any of that. I just got distracted by Fox News's front page. I do want to go to Mike Collins here. Mike Collins is, I think, pretty indicative of who the GOP has become. You are not, like, if you are somebody who is somebody in the GOP, it's likely that you're just a dumb guy who reads shit. And this is an example of a dumb guy reading shit that isn't true. This is Mike Collins.
Then you fast forward to the Biden administration.
That's right.
They put this on steroids. And
they're talking about, he's specifically talking about the people that are protesting, which nobody is more upset about protests than Republicans. Using your First Amendment right is a real problem for them. So obviously these protests and these ICE protests, this is obviously Joe Biden's fault. But now listen to what he claims Joe Biden did here.
And actually allowed the public to take part in this game. Example, Summer of Love, where rioters were out there burning police stations, assaulting officers, taking over our cities, where they were advocating to defund the men.
Raise your hand if your city was taken over. They didn't take over any cities. And also the burning, most of the burning turned out to be like Proud Boys or Antifa. But most regular people, like Antifa, just so we're clear, like Antifa is its own thing. Antifa isn't the Democratic Party. But yeah, or Boogaloo Boys. Thank you, Kate. It was the Boogaloo Boys, not the Proud Boys.
And women in blue who protect us. And they didn't just encourage it, y'all. They promoted it. Hey, they even paid for their bail.
Joe Biden wasn't president when that happened. Donald Trump was. These guys can't even get their fucking stories straight. They just want to, like, everything is a big fucking conspiracy to them. I was reading, and we may get to it today. I've got a lot to get to, but there's now this collective conspiracy, this idea that Kash Patel is going to basically create a RICO or a conspiracy case that implicates Democrats back 20 years, and this has all been like one mass movement criminal organization to take over our country and I don't know, give us health care, try and pay off student loans, do infrastructure bills. I'm not sure exactly the crime that they're alleging here, but that's what happens when you have a dipshit like Donald Trump as president, because you have to repeat the lies that he tells you. So you just show up every day and you say dumb shit like, Joe Biden started this shit. Joe Biden let it happen under his watch, and it was under Trump's watch. So I don't know what we do about that. I don't know what we do about fixing Republican brains. Skip that. Let me go to just something, a reminder. We talk about this all the time. We're playing this clip, and it's in the Discord, and I think you should share this on your social media. Our favorite, Jessica Tarlov, was on Fox News, just to remind all of you that here's a couple things. Here's just the reality of Donald Trump. Let's just do a timeline. Donald Trump was born to rich parents. And Donald Trump was a shitty student. He got sent to boarding school. He, by all accounts, they pulled some strings to get him into Wharton. He had shitty grades in college. Then he left when he left college. I think he got his degree in, I think it was economics, believe it or not. He has an economics degree and doesn't know what a tariff is, which is fascinating. Then he goes into the family business, and he starts running the family business with his dad. His dad winds up kind of towards the end of his years, like not being all there. And Donald Trump is able to take the family business and put it under his control. Kind of stabbed his dad in the back, kind of stabbed some of his family members in the back, even doing things like going into the trust and taking money out of the trust to invest in deals. And basically by whenever he started The Apprentice, I don't remember what year, early 2000s, when The Apprentice kicked off, basically at that point had lost all of his money. He was essentially dead in the water. He wasn't making money anymore. He was up to his eyebrows in debt. There was no real pathway forward because banks weren't working with him. Luckily, he was approached to do The Apprentice, and that was a massive success. And because The Apprentice didn't have a bunch of upfront money, they gave him points on The Apprentice as an EP. So Trump made a large fortune from The Apprentice. And during The Apprentice, he kept trying to roll out these products. He had all these not brand deals, like his products, like Trump vodka, and all of those failed too. And then eventually The Apprentice lost steam, as all shows do. And Donald Trump, because he was so heavily in debt, had basically blown through most of his money again. And by conservative estimates, he was $1 billion in the hole when he entered office the first time. Then he left office positive. And then during that time, he grifted the fuck out of you guys. He started True Social, which is a operation that bleeds money, but he's able to convince people to keep investing in it, foreign investors, while he's running for president, to keep that afloat. And then he announces a cryptocurrency 2 days before he enters office. And Jessica Tarlov's just here to remind you that Donald Trump is not some massive business success. Donald Trump started at the top and has basically just been one step. We're not prosecuting pump and dump scams. We're not prosecuting a president taking open bribes. We're not going to worry about that. But it is also most of why Trump is rich. And here's Tarlov to explain that.
Hold on, let me get him on the phone.
Josh?
Tell him I loved his op-ed. And Greg mentioned a staggering level of corruption. And I just got a note that the staggering level of corruption from last night's meme coin dinner.
That's what you're focusing on, the meme coin.
No, 40% of Donald Trump's wealth has been accumulated since he became president because of 2 crypto coins. The New York Times did interviews with foreign buyers of this cryptocurrency who came up.
Look at all the dick riders in the chat. No, Donald Trump is rich. He's rich. You're poor. You're just mad that he's rich and you're a poor. No, he wasn't. He's just a scam artist. He's just a dude that was born with money. He's just a little bitch. And now he's running 2 scams, and they make up 40% of his net worth.
Over here to have dinner with him, a guy from South Korea.
This is not even part of the segment.
So what?
You're talking about a meme coin.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about who's corrupt and who is profiting off the American office.
Did he try to cover that up? I don't think so.
Yeah, Caroline Levitt said
you're defending an administration that covered up a dying leader, and you're sitting here going, but meme coin, meme coin.
I'm saying
This is the new right-wing thing. I noticed it when I started hanging out with incels over on Raging Tomato, where they just repeat something and they pretend it's hysterical. Meme coin. Yeah, it's a fucking Ponzi scheme. Yeah, we're upset about it. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. That used to be against the law. It's crazy for people to be like, oh, we don't care about this. We don't care about him running an obvious scam. But Joe Biden was old. That's what we care about. We care about the last president who was old and that was covered up somehow. But running an 2 cryptocurrency scams consecutively, that's fine. That's fine.
All right, let's give Paul a chance to clean it up real quick. Paul, final thoughts.
Clean on my side of the street.
All right,
Greg Gutfeld, when he starts laughing like that, you know you struck a chord with him. Yeah, this dude is just a scammer, and it's fine. To everybody that's here, incels, I know that you think that money is king, and I know that you think if you just get that money, these women are gonna like you. They're not. They might come around for your money. Some people, there's always going to be people coming around for your money. Men, women, whoever. There's always going to be people who hang around you just because you have money. But when you lose the money, you lose them, which is what happens to Donald Trump. It did happen to Donald Trump. Who are Donald Trump's lifelong friends? Who was standing by Donald Trump while he was losing money? Nobody. And you guys will all abandon him again later. Like, once he's not in office, like when Trump dies, it's going to be a really interesting series of events. Because all of the stuff that he did, suddenly you'll be able to write about in books without any real fear of retribution. When Trump dies, we're going to find out a lot about these Republicans who were overlooking obvious crimes over and over and over again. Now, I show this, I show that, but I also show this. These stories are having a negative impact on Democrats. This is new polling according to Trump's poller. Let's see, wait. No, that's the next one. Sorry, this one is from Gallup, Quinnipiac, Marist, Ipsos, and Fox. This is looking at Trump's actions on immigration. Now, remember, in January and February, Trump was a net, like in almost every poll, a majority of the country approved of Trump's immigration policies and his what he said he was going to do. Those are all upside down now.
How is the president doing on immigration at this point?
In a word, Kate, oof. What are we talking about here? Take a look at this. Trump's net approval rating on immigration. Got 5 numbers for you across the screen here. A lot of focus on Gallup at -27. That's horrible. Quinnipiac University -16. That's awful. Marist is bad at -9. Ipsos is -8. Fox at -7. Bad. So going from your left side, bad, to just downright terrible on the right side of your screen, the American people have turned against President Donald Trump on what was his best issue, one in which he had a positive net approval rating for most of his term, and arguably the issue that got him, of course, the GOP nomination all the way back in 2016, and one of the issues, of course, he used last year to quite a successful degree.
Absolutely. Is there signs that this is affecting his overall approval?
Okay, so you see this here, and then the question is, does this actually matter to folks? Why don't we zone in Hispanic voters, right? Because obviously a lot of the immigrants who have been affected by this have been Hispanic voters in terms of the immigration crackdown. Take a look here. Trump's net approval rating amongst Hispanics. Remember, Trump put in a historic performance last fall among Hispanic voters, did better than any Republican nominee dating all the way back since we have data in 1972. His net approval rating among Hispanics in February was pretty gosh darn good for a Republican at -2 points. Look at how far it's fallen.
We forgot to cue the people freaking out that this is on CNN. The source there is CBS News and YouGov, by the way, not CNN.
Now, in June, according to CBS News YouGov, at -26 points, and I should note CBS News YouGov is not alone on this. This is what we see in the averages as well. Donald Trump was doing historically well for a Republican amongst Hispanics in terms of his net approval rating, and now he's basically back where he was during his first term, which is quite a low approval rating, one in which has brought his overall approval rating down amongst the entire electorate.
And one thing that has been very clear is that as this crackdown has continued, it has put immigration enforcement, ICE, in a whole new spotlight across the country. What are the numbers on ICE now?
Yeah, what are the numbers on ICE? It's not just affecting Donald Trump, it's affecting ICE as well. ICE's net approval rating. In Trump's first term, the average was 0 points, right? So right there on the bottom, as many approve as disapprove. Look at where we are now in June of 2025. -17 points all the way down. So the bottom line is this immigration crackdown not being viewed popularly by the American public, bringing Donald Trump down and bringing immigration and custom enforcement down with him.
Rory said, Jay, who you got for the PGA Open? I assume you meant the British Open. I like Rory. I think this is a Rory year. I'd love to see Rory win another British there, and I think it's in Northern Ireland, isn't it? Isn't it in Ireland? I can't remember what course it's at this year. So I would take that, or Shane Lowry. Either one of those two. Those would be my picks. Good to have you guys here, MAGA folks. Just a reminder, we are crowdfunded, so there's that gift goal up in the corner. And also a reminder to all of you MAGA that are here. I noticed that a lot of you were talking about Andrew Wilson, which is great. I've always wondered what it was like to jack off a chain smoker who looks 20 years older than he is, but it's good to have you guys here. We do allow guests, so if you'd like to come up and debate anything that I have to say, above me on the left, if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're on Twitch, down to the left side of the screen, there's a V and the username there. That's Jen. That's her username on Discord. You can add her on Discord. We'd be happy to bring you up. Speaking of which, I missed all of Jen's messages, and she's blowing me up. And that's my bad. And I'm going to jump in the VC now. And hi, Jen. I was here the whole time. Bradley said, my wife and I have reached the difficult decision.
What's your lie? You tell it.
Bradley said, my wife and I have reached the difficult decision that we do not want children. If anybody does, please just send me your contact details and we can drop them off tomorrow. Hi, Jen.
Yeah, no. I mean, all the DMs, VC for the love of Sky Daddy, VC, sent you a text, VC.
Do you want to tell people about your DMs from yesterday?
Oh, I saw some people actually talking about it not too long ago. Kelly Cam was in my DM yesterday. Surprise, surprise. I know this is going to be, for the regulars, I know this will be shocking to you. But yeah, I got a DM from him yesterday. That he was upset because he got banned for calling Lindsey Graham a homophobic slur.
Yeah.
So, my general response is, oh well. and his response is, he's in the LGBTQ because the I stands for incel.
That was actually kind of funny by him, to be
honest. That was
kind of funny.
It was entertaining. To me, I did find that funny, but my response was, so you're full of shit too. Got it. So yeah, so he's he wanted to give us business advice, which I told him I've heard him actually speak, and so I'd rather deep throat a cactus than take business advice from Kelly Cam. So,
R.I.P. Kelly Cam. I'm sure he's here on an alt today. Good to see you, alt Kelly Cam. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think you've read most of the messages. I think actually one may have came in that I didn't read yet. So Jumar had said, he didn't say ethos, he said, Pete, look at those street hoes. I haven't put these in our chat yet. Pete said, just found out a camera at work must restart at 9:01, and just found out a camera at my work must restart at 9:01 and miss a minute. Just happens to be the same minute my coworker definitely was not making out with her boyfriend in full view. And then Izzy joined the Dollar Train.
Thank you.
So, all right. So we've got we do the show each day, Monday through Friday, from 9:30 to 1 Pacific time. The top left-hand corner is our gift goal. We need to knock that out each day to keep doing what we're doing. So Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats, all go towards knocking out that goal. So if you guys could help us do that, please subscribe if you'd like to join us for our member-only events that we've been doing. So on TikTok, you can do a regular subscription, and you and I need to talk about that integration because it didn't work.
Oh, okay.
And we'll figure that out later.
I'll definitely figure that out. I'm really good at
that's definitely not going to happen.
Yeah.
No, your technical knowledge is not there quite. But anyways, so if you guys are a paid subscriber or member on YouTube, we have member-only events when Jay decides to give us all headaches talking to Rob, do you do this on? I think I've decided you tell who you're debating on live on purpose, not telling me separately, so that I can't give you shit. It's like asking for forgiveness.
I think
it's easier to ask for forgiveness later.
So I think that's a good theory, but the reality is, I just never remember until I'm live. Yeah, and then I'm like, oh shit, I do have an announcement. Yeah, but
yeah, because I mean,
it is kind of fun to surprise you.
Right. Thanks.
You're welcome. Do you have?
I mean, Rob.
You were around for the Rob Noor, the first one, right? Definitely. That was so weird. That was the weirdest debate. I've been in some weird ones. That one was like, and then that fucking dude, like, Rob has a fan. It was Aftershock, and he would show up every day for like months and just be like, Rob dog walked RTP every day. It was the weirdest thing. Whatever happened to that guy?
Like, I don't know. He was like Rob's fluffer.
Yeah, it was. Well, that's a tough position. A Rob Noor fluffer. That's tough.
It wasn't easy. But anyways, so yeah, we have those member only events, so you don't have to stay in the pissed off Raging Tomatoes chat, because it's pretty feral for those. So subscribe or join our membership on Amazon. You can use your Amazon Prime sub. Remember to check that each month because it doesn't expire, it doesn't automatically renew if you've done it previously. Also check out the link tree in our bio. We're on most social media platforms. We've got merch, Jay's on Cameo, and we have all these episodes uploaded to Spotify. So there's all that good stuff. So yeah, if we can knock out that gift goal quick, fast, in a hurry, like our old friend used to say, he who shall not be named, I guess.
We're not naming naming HVAC anymore. We're not saying the name. Okay.
I'll say it. I just.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You have to respect people with glasses.
It's true.
They paid a lot of money to be able to see you.
That's stupid. Gotta go. Thank you, Jed. Reminder, update on TikTok. Top viewers, your mommy, Cassie, Rosteranch, Shar, and Siberio. Again, just make sure you're still gifting on TikTok. We love having it there. I know that a lot of people want it on TikTok, but it does cost views, and TikTok doesn't pay us for views. So if we want to keep TikTok alive, just make sure that you're gifting over there on the panel, and that keeps, or not the panel, in the audience, and that keeps our HR rep, so that when they inevitably ban our account, we can keep that going, and he'll get it turned around and fixed. So appreciate you guys' support over there on TikTok as well. I'm going to get more into the polling here. Here's a new polling from Fabrizio Ward. That is literally Donald Trump's pollster. Here is what new polling from Fabrizio Ward is telling us. 87% of Trump voters believe it is important that Congress take action to reduce the price of prescription drugs. 96% of Harris voters believe it is important that Congress take action to reduce the price of prescription drugs. I think there was one more here. 91% of swing voters believe it is important that Congress take action to reduce the price of prescription drugs. The next one here. So this is now the patient's affordability for drugs. Now, I want you to know why that's a problem for Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump, so far, his prescription for lowering prescription drugs is to tariff the fuck out of countries and charge you an additional tax on prescription drugs. That's so far what his plan is. That's the Republican plan. And we have the midterms coming up. And with prices already out of control, Republicans need to do something to address prescription drug pricing, and they're not doing it. They have no plan for it. As long as I've been alive, the Republican plan for reducing drug prices is increase competition, get rid of the lines around the states for health insurance. And they say it every year. Every election year, they claim that that's what they're going to do. They've removed the lines around the states for healthcare. It didn't do shit. Prices just still go up. The reality is we need to collectively bargain. We have to use our leverage. Asking the markets to do the right thing is not going to work. You have to use our leverage. You have to collectively bargain. And it's getting painfully obvious to everybody who is not a partisan that the only real solution is going to be some version of universal health care, which I think Medicare for all is by far the best option for us. This is good. This could be a real disaster for Republicans in the midterms. Even Republican strongholds here, like the Florida 6th, they have a special congressional election. Now, right now, Randy Fine is the Republican there that is leading that congressional district. Josh Weil, I think it's Weil, is leading in polling, and there's 10% undecided. And I don't think Randy Fine's going to do anything to make his stock go up. One thing you need to know about Randy Fine is he is a massive supporter of APAC. And APAC is a massive supporter of Randy Fine. They've given him $400,000. He's also blatantly racist, extremely Islamophobic, and just a shitty fucking person in general. These are some tweets going back at multiple people on Twitter, including Rashida Tlaib. Randy Fine says Palestinian is just another word for demon. After Rashida Tlaib posted, the government of Israel is starving Gaza to death. It's a war crime to use starvation as a weapon. The only way to end this genocide is with an arms embargo. And he said, tell your Muslim terrorists to release the hostages and surrender. Until then, #starve away. When Israel War Room posted, Hamas seems to have kidnapped mostly women. It has already been confirmed that Hamas fighters are using rape as a weapon of war. There must be no mercy for these barbarians, which, of course, Israel War Room is just an APAC-funded account. Randy Fine said, none. May the streets of Gaza run red with their blood. This is a horrific human being, and I'm not done with Randy Fine. Here are more attacks on Rashida Tlaib. And this works for like the Andrew Wilson crowd that's here that's suddenly showed up. I know that this works for you guys because, you know, fuck the Palestinians, right? Ilhan Omar tweeted out, this is Benjamin Netanyahu's third visit to D.C. this year. War criminals should not be welcomed by any president or Congress. Randy Fine says, I'm sure it is difficult to see us welcome the killer of so many of your fellow Muslim terrorists. The only shame is that you serve in Congress. Just calling everybody that's Muslim a terrorist. Like, we can't even pretend here, right? Because when you call Benjamin Netanyahu a war criminal, it's not because he went after folks that are members of Hamas. It has nothing to do with him and Israel killing members of Hamas. He's a war criminal because of all of the other people that he's killing, which is almost exclusively, at this point, not Hamas. And he says, it's difficult to welcome the killer of so many of your fellow Muslim terrorists. The only shame is that you serve in Congress. Blatantly Islamophobic, blatantly racist. Here he is celebrating the murder of an American citizen by a foreign army. Vizgrad 24 tweeted out, 26-year-old Aysenur Ezgi Igi, a Turkish woman with a U.S. citizenship, was shot to death in the West Bank today by the Israeli army. Randy Fine said, throw rocks, get shot, one less Muslim terrorist. Fire away. That's an American citizen that he is celebrating the death of by the Israelis. America first, my ass. It's always Israel first. Then after he used to serve in the state legislature in Florida, and after getting his concealed carry bill shot down by his own party, by the way, it was so stupid that his own party shut it down. Randy Fine, as the commissioner, was in a bad mood, so he took it out on who? His constituents, where he, as you had an open forum here, he cut everybody's time to 30 seconds, and look how he treats his own constituents.
Wasn't given any type of facilitation. That was
good. You're done too. Next, 30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds is disgusting.
Yep. Well,
Yeah. Come on up. Enjoy your terrorist rag. Come on, let's go.
There we go. Now anything that is from the Middle East is a terrorist rag. Any sort of garb from the Middle East would be a terrorist rag. This is Randy Fine.
You're next. Come on. What's your name? I'm the chairman. I can say what I want. If you don't like it, you can leave.
Yeah, that's what we expect out of these Republicans, right? I do whatever the fuck I want. I can be a dirtbag. I can be a piece of shit. I can treat you however I want because I'm the chairman. I can change the rules if I want. And if you don't like it, get the fuck out. And I'm going to do this without you anyways. This is the type of representation you guys are proud of, MAGA? Is this, you'd vote for this? How the fuck do you even vote for this guy? I don't care who else is on the ballot. How the fuck do you vote for this guy? I think he's going to lose, and I think he's going to lose badly.
Come on. You're next.
Fair point. You get paid by us.
I'll clear the room, and then we can move on if I hear one more outburst. I don't have to have any of you sit here. One more. I'll clear the room. We'll debate, and we'll vote. You're recognized for 30 seconds. What's your name?
All right. Yesterday, possibly the day before, Randy Fine got caught blocking people from following his official government account. And he has been forced to unblock all of the people who criticized him. And apparently, this is a Twitter username, Cassandra McDonald. I don't know if she's a journalist. Let's see. Okay, she works for the Gateway Pundit. All right. Cassandra McDonald apparently was on the block list, and she wasted no time in posting Randy Fine here. There's no suffering adequate for these animals. May the streets of Gaza overflow with blood. That's what he said. And she just posted that. And I think that that's probably fair. It's not even like really much of a stretch. Really. It's not even really like exaggerated that much. Just a little more hair on top there for Randy Fine. A little less hair in the back. Ultimately, it looks like the same person to me. Then I had never heard of Randy Fine until like legitimately maybe 3 months ago. And then I saw this video, and I will never think about Randy Fine without thinking of this video ever again. And this is going to get taken down from our live stream for the replay, so enjoy it because it has copyrighted music, but there you go. Sorry in advance. Listen, there's a lot of people out there, not a lot. There's some people out there that I care about that live in Florida, and I apologize in advance. This does not show Florida in a good light. But remember, this is about Randy Fine. First of all, I just had a pub sub for the first time like last month. Unfucking believable. I'm not even going to criticize the pub sub here.
Welcome to Mar-a-Lago, Mr. Fine. Here's that baby you ordered.
Sorry.
Randy, congrats on your big win. We're going to make Israel great again.
Hello, Mr. Fine.
All right, now I think I'll get in trouble playing the rest of that. I can't play the rest of that. Gets substantially worse. Somebody said, I want to know what the prompt is. Same. Whoever did that AI prompt, I just want to see what they wrote down. You'll never be able to unsee that. I just want you all to think of that every time you think of Randy Fine from now on, because I had to see it. All right. In other news of Republicans being gross and shitty, this is I forget, Luke Warford here gets the credit from TikTok. Trump is now urging Texas to redraw their districts again to make sure that in the midterms and in the next election that they can gerrymander the fuck out of Texas. As Texas becomes more and more purple and closer to blue, it's important for Texas Republicans to gerrymander the fuck out of their state to make sure that dipshits like your governor and your lieutenant governor can stay in power.
We've gotten so used to Trump's craziness that even something this extreme starts to feel normal. But a mid-decade redistricting, that's not normal, it's dangerous. Last month, we started hearing rumors that Trump is calling on Texas Republicans to call a special legislative session to redraw our congressional maps 5 years before the next census. To fully understand just how crazy that is, here's how redistricting is supposed to work. Every 10 years, we get new census data that tells us how many people live where. Then politicians redraw congressional district.
Thank you, Charles.
Lines. They're supposed to ensure that every district has about the same number of people living there and reflects the communities in that district. But in Texas, where Republicans control the legislature, they draw unfair lines to help elect more Republicans. Redrawing maps mid-decade now means that Republicans are once again changing the rules in the middle of the game, rigging the system to protect their power by jamming as many Democratic voters into as few districts as possible. The last time they tried this was in 2003, when over 60 Democrats fled the state to try to prevent what was happening. They stayed away for over a month because that's how serious a threat mid-decade redistricting is. And now Trump is pulling the same stunt, demanding another mid-decade redistricting. They already screwed over Texas Democrats 5 years ago during the regular redistricting process, and those maps are in the courts today being fought over for gerrymandering. But now their policies are unpopular and they're losing voters. And instead of shifting their policies to try to win back voters, they're trying to rewrite the rules of the game so that they can keep control of the United States House. That's not about representation or democracy. It's about control. It's about power. And when politicians rewrite the rules to try to serve themselves, it's our job to hold them accountable. Texans should decide our elections, not Donald Trump.
If you're so popular, Republicans, I don't know why you have to focus so much on gerrymandering everything. If you're so popular, I don't know why you're constantly trying to protect or make our laws to protect your values and make it harder for the will of the people to speak. We'll see what happens in Texas. Let's not put it past Texas. But just remember, Texas, that at some point, if you're going to play by these rules, at some point your ideas are going to become less popular, especially as more people move to Texas. The bigger your population gets, the more likely you are to turn blue. That's kind of how this works. The more different viewpoints that you're surrounded by, the more likely you are to become progressive. The more likely you are to at least recognize that your viewpoints aren't the only ones that are important. So if Texas keeps growing and they keep advocating for pro-growth strategies that would bring people in who are looking to pay no state taxes, just know you're going to turn more blue. And eventually, if you lose control, those gerrymandered to fuck districts are going to be undone, and then you're in a lot of trouble. I don't know why you guys are so afraid of elections. I don't know that there's anybody more afraid of elections than Republicans. You spent 4 years demonizing the previous election, then the lead up to the election, claiming the election was going to be rigged, and then when you won, you're like, oh, never mind. Never mind. They can rig all other elections, which was a crazy thing. It's pretty fucking crazy for you guys to believe the 2020 election was rigged when Trump was in power, but the 2024 election was not rigged even though Joe Biden was in power. So what happened? Democrats can only rig elections when they're not in power? Is that what you're saying? Like we were only capable of rigging elections when you guys are in power, but when we're in power, we're not capable of rigging elections, right? But this is like actual election rigging, and I understand that gerrymandering happens across the board. But gerrymandering mostly, like when you look at the existence of gerrymandering in Arizona, if you look at it in California, if you look at it in Texas, you look at it in Pennsylvania, in Michigan, Minnesota, it's almost always Republicans trying to draw these weird little lines to make sure that they have districts that are Republican. That way, even though the demographics of the state say that the representation might need to be like 60-40, it's 55-45, or it's 53-47, and you're able to pick up districts that you really have no business winning until you gerrymandered people out of it. Gerrymandering should be illegal. It's actually fucking crazy that we allow gerrymandering. Our entire election process is fairly corrupt. I think pick a state. Let's do Michigan. Congressional districts. I haven't. Let's do this. We have a map here. Michigan's pretty solid. Okay, here's Michigan's. Pretty normal, right? Like, you see how these are like? So you're supposed to have roughly the same population in each district. So some will be smaller, but these are like mostly squares. If I go to Texas and look at the Texas congressional districts, look at the difference in Texas. We're all squared up. We're all squared up here, but you get down in like these. I don't know how well you can see this. Like in Dallas, like the way that these fingers extend, and down here, where's this? Harris County. These shapes don't make any fuck. Look at District 2. Look at this one just specifically. If you can see my mouse, it literally loops around the city. Just loops around. You want to guess? Is Texas? Who does Texas District 2? Texas District 2 representative Dan Crenshaw. Yeah, shocker, fucking shocker. Like, tell me that shape makes sense. In what world would you create a district that is shaped like that? Only one. I'm gonna guess that this is like mostly suburbs. This is gonna be mostly white suburbs out here. Texas is gross. Texas is corrupt, and that what they've done in their big cities, especially around Dallas, is gerrymander the fuck out of these places so that there's still some Republican representation, despite the fact that there really shouldn't be. Like if you took like square blocks and square miles, Republicans would be fucked, but they gerrymander all of this. Let's get to economics. All of you Andrew Wilson fans that were here, you can leave now because we're talking about economics. And I know you guys don't care about that. But Peter Navarro, one of Trump's advisors, is very confused right now. He's very confused how we are raising all this tariff money, but somehow China doesn't seem to care. I wonder if there's a reason behind that. I wonder why China doesn't care that we're raising tariffs.
The more a country takes advantage of us, the less willing they are to give up the good thing they got going. So that's the tension. But the president is not going to tolerate that. So that's where we're at. I would say that for the American people, these tariffs are a great boon. I brought a chart here. It shows that we've already collected like $100 billion of tariffs.
A record for
alone.
a single fiscal year.
Yeah, and one of the things that really bothers me is that we're up.
The record tax increases for a year so far. That is a record tax on goods. We've never taxed the American people on goods at this level ever before. So well done, Republicans. Thank you for that massive tax increase. As they said, the largest in history.
To 18 billion now or so with China alone on the fentanyl tariffs. And so they're willing to give us $18 billion in tariffs, and they still won't do what they promised back.
Yeah. This is an economic advisor to the president of the United States, a guy that a lot of you voted for. He thinks China's paying the tariffs. He might just be dumb too. Maybe him and Trump are just both dumb. How else do you explain this? He just said, well, we've charged them $18 billion and they're not even moving. Yeah, because guess what? They didn't pay that $18 billion. We did. I also think it's interesting they're calling them the fentanyl tariffs. Like, it's pretty fucking wild. These are tariffs on fentanyl now? Yeah, that's why China doesn't fucking care. Because they're still selling it and we're still buying it. And China's not going to care until we stop paying the tariffs. Then China might care. But who actually got hurt? Us. American people. That's $18 billion raised in taxes directly to American companies and American consumers. And this guy is on TV, on Bloomberg News, saying, why doesn't China care that they paid this $18 billion? And I think it's probably because they didn't pay that $18 billion. We did.
Back in 2019, directly from the president of China, which is to stop killing Americans. So the tariffs are working, and they were these kind of revenues that we're getting. It's a very important part of the big beautiful bill in terms of financing that as well. So
holy shit! What did he just say there? It's very important in terms of the big beautiful bill. It relies on us charging tariffs, which are a tax on Americans. Just so we're clear, the big beautiful bill, which offers tax cuts that overwhelmingly go to the rich, is being financed through a tax on the consumer. That's why we're that's how we're paying for these tax cuts. They're on TV just saying it now. Now they're still lying and saying that China pays that, but they don't, because they can't. Because that's not how tariffs work. Tariffs are collected by CBP. That money goes directly from the importer. And roughly, there's a new economic analysis today that says right now, 70% of that cost is being passed along to the consumer. So the corporations are eating some of it, about 30% of it. The other 70% they're passing along to the consumer. But even these corporations, like a 30% drop in their revenue, that's substantial. I don't know long term if they can handle that, but we also know that the American consumer can't handle that, and we saw that with the inflation numbers I'll get to in a minute. Inflation's going up now. Now we see this uptick in inflation. We're seeing an uptick in goods. We're seeing, I think the average grocery price on agriculture is up 7%. And it's directly tied to this. Like, what we should see is year over year, agriculture up between 2 and 3% at the rate of inflation. But it's not. It's more than double the rate of inflation. It's at 7%. And those are just on expected tariffs. Some of these tariffs haven't hit yet. So some of this is like preemptive stuff that Kroger and Walmart and Target, all these companies are doing. When the tariff actually hits, that 7% might be 15% if the tariff is 15%. Or let's just say they eat 30% of it. Let's say the tariff is 20% and they eat 30% of it. So now you're paying an extra 14% on your food. This is all happening right in front of our faces. The president is trotting out Peter fucking Navarro, who is telling you that China pays tariffs, which isn't true. I still can't believe we're doing this. Honest to God, like, if they don't know these, I think they're corrupt. If they're not corrupt, then they're dumber than we thought. Like, this level of stupidity, the level of stupidity that you have to go on national TV and state that tariffs are paid by foreign countries is unfucking believable. And that should concern you. If you're a MAGA person, it shouldn't concern you like that they're defending it, because that's what they're going to do. And maybe you like tariffs. Whether you like tariffs or not, it should concern you that Peter Navarro and Donald Trump don't seem to know who pays tariffs. I'd be very concerned.
Got an external revenue service that's going to augment the internal revenue service. And we're moving for a structural reset of the international trading.
That's true. An external revenue service. That's exactly what he's saying. Yeah, we're going to create an external revenue service. You can't tax other countries. because they are sovereign countries. They don't pay taxes to us. You can't tax another country. You can put tariffs on them if they wanted to agree to a tax. I guess you could. They'd have to vote on that, I guess, or just agree to it, depending on their country and their level of democracy. But yeah, you can't tax other countries. It's not a real thing. The other big story coming out of Republicans now, because they desperately want to get away from this Epstein stuff. Now they're talking about the autopen. Here's James Comer saying, well, I'll just let him say it.
I think it would be a hard pitch in front of a court of law to try to defend what Joe Biden just admitted to the New York Times, that he didn't know exactly.
Jim, go look up agriculture price increases. Agriculture price increases are up 7%. Go look it up. You might be confusing it with inflation, but no, it's just agriculture.
Who all was getting pardons or not. He didn't know who was being pardoned with the use of his autopen, and that's the whole basis of this investigation. This is just the pardons. What about the executive orders? I mean, there was no process that we have found thus far, and we've brought in 4 people thus far in our interviews and depositions, no defined process by which Joe Biden was the one saying, yes, use this autopen to sign my name on this pardon or this executive order. I mean, Sean, we're just talking about.
Do you understand what he's saying? I want to be really clear on what James Comer is saying. James Comer isn't saying that Biden didn't approve things to be signed with autopen. He didn't say that that you're not allowed to sign things with autopen. What he is saying is there was no established process that happened every single time where Joe Biden said, this is our process every single time to use autopen. Oh, no! Oh, no! What does that mean? Why would we care about that? You know what they also haven't said? Not one of them has said Joe Biden didn't know what was being signed. Not one. They have 0 people who have testified that Joe Biden didn't know what was being signed. All they have is that, well, there's no like process that happened every single time, and therefore what? Therefore what? Executive orders are signed by autopen all the time. Pardons are signed by autopen. Trump used autopen to sign pardons in this administration. I think this is fucking crazy. What they don't, all they have is that an autopen was used. The thing that they don't have that would make the autopen relevant in this scenario, if you wanted to say that this was a scandal, what you would have to have is you would have to have a bunch of things that were signed by autopen, and then you would have to be able to prove that Joe Biden didn't know that those things were going to be signed, that Joe Biden didn't approve of those things to be signed. And that's where they have this massive gap. That's why they keep calling it the autopen, because they can't prove anything else other than it was signed by autopen. By the way, multiple letters have gone out during this investigation from James Comer using e-sign, which I've signed contracts with e-sign that look my taxes this last year. I e-signed my taxes. It doesn't look like my signature. It's an e-signature. It doesn't look the same. If you compared my signature to the signature on my tax returns, you'd be like, those aren't the same. And then they'd be like, oh, well, he e-signed it. Yeah. And what did he have to do to e-sign? He had to prove who he was in order to e-sign it. This is literally nothing. And it is the Republican Congress's apparently priority right now is to do this investigation. They can't even, just like the Joe Biden crime family, they can't even point to a crime that was committed. They can't even tell us what the real problem here is. They just say he used autopen, therefore he must not have known. Oh, and they were now he has cancer, therefore he was covered. They were covering this whole thing up, and we had a bunch of deep staters running the government. The only evidence, just so we're clear, that they have for this entire conspiracy theory is e-signatures, which is autopen.
Signing your name, one signature. So it doesn't even take into account whether or not he was mentally able to understand what he was even signing. So this is bad, and I think this puts all of those pardons in peril from the Biden administration.
Jim, I don't know if you're trying to fact check me. Whoever's polling up those grocery prices, you're polling up groceries, not agriculture. We're talking about specifically agriculture from tariffed countries. So you're going to have to be a little more specific with your search and listen to the words that I say. This is a common problem with Republicans. You just gave me grocery prices. Not all grocery is agriculture, so you have to take agriculture from tariffed countries, and then you have to compare. And it's going to be a little difficult for you, and then you got to find the average rate of increase on those prices. So a little more digging, Jim, but you're on the right track. I appreciate you fact checking me. I love that every day. But you got to fact check the right things for me to respond. Okay. Amy said, and those mandarins cost more now. M. Scott says, Chick Punk says Jerry Mandarin rigs elections. No, the fuck she didn't. No, she didn't. Did she really? Did she say Jerry Mandarin? I love Jerry Mandarin. He's one of my favorite guitarists.
You've been missing out on the whole gerrymandering.
Oh God! So that's what. Okay. Real quick, Bradley, Brianna, Sandra, Izzy, Pink, and Jamar. Thank you guys for joining the Dollar Train. So what happened? Chick Punk said Jerry Mandarin wrote that in the comments.
So here, let me show you. Here, I'll just drop this in the chat. It's funny. You don't get, obviously. I mean, your attention span's the same as goldfish, but to watch everything that goes on between everywhere. So Chick Punk wrote, "You cry about gerrymandering during, but you want non-citizens to vote in our elections." So gerrymandering is going to become, if they're not a person already, they will be.
Don't vote for gerrymandering, everybody. Don't do it.
Gerrymandering sounds like a real asshole if we're being honest.
It's voice to text, guys. Don't be that stupid. Listen, you can't. I mean, whether it's voice to text or not, Chick Punk, you got to be tougher than that. You know it's dumb. Whether it's voice text or not.
I use voice to text all the time.
Tough enough.
But you can still proofread before you hit send. It doesn't make it so you can't proofread it. So there's that.
While Jen's here, I'll do it. Peppy, you got a joke for me? I'll do the announcements. You do the joke. You ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Just a reminder, we are crowdfunded here. You have a gift goal in the top left corner, and we do need to hit that gift goal every day. So there's nearly 1,000 people here. If everybody hit that gift goal, sent $1, we knock that gift goal out in a hurry. If any message you send, I'll read. That includes you, Republicans. You want me to read your message? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But if you want to make sure that I read it, send it in as a super chat. We also have other options for payment that are at the top on YouTube and off to the left on everywhere else. I guess this is the top on TikTok too. So you can help us with our goal there. We also have paid subscriptions. So on Thursday when we do our debate over on Raging Tomato, if you want to watch that with us, you just need to make sure you have a paid subscription either through YouTube, TikTok, or Twitch. And just so we're clear, that goes a really, really long way for us to continue to do this. It's between $5 and $20 depending on which level you choose to support us with. And that also allows us to not have to ask for gift goals eventually at some point. So we appreciate you guys' support. Make sure you're subscribed over there. And now Jen with the joke.
Well, hold on. I'm going to get to the joke. I mean, Chick Punk is kind of a joke in themselves. That chat doesn't autocorrect. If it did, I would have corrected it. No, dummy. You hit enter before you send it. That's what I'm saying. Anyways,
I just want to show you, since while I've been doing these announcements, I asked AI to make me a picture of a MAGA dummy named Jerry Mandarin, and that's Jerry Mandarin. AI did it while we were doing this. That's how he's there's Jerry Mandarin.
He looks like the Mad TV guy, kind of.
He does look like a Mad TV guy. There you go.
But that's good. I like it. What do you get if you put a vest on an alligator?
Eaten? That's a tough job. I don't know.
An investigator.
I actually liked that one quite a bit. All right, thank you. All right, moving on. So James Comer started with this. Now we have John Solomon and James Comer explaining Apparently Kash Patel, I can't find this announcement from Kash Patel, but everybody's referencing it, and so I just assume that it's true. If it's not, sorry about that. I didn't fact check this enough. But now you have James Comer here and John Solomon explaining what they're trying to find now, which is apparently a grand criminal conspiracy investigation. This is what they're opening against the Democrats now.
But what I'm reading in your piece tells me...
Oh, shit. Sorry. Before I go that, Hugh Mungus said, missed Monday, so sorry if you already had a recap, but the debate with the puppet known as Andrew on Friday was one of the most pathetic things I've ever watched. Host was almost as bad as Andrew. Look, I've liked Sarah. I did think it was weird that Sarah started debating in that debate. I don't think it was a very good faith setup. I think that the way they set up that debate and pretended that that was my prompt, and that I was there to defend that prompt without Andrew defending the other side of that prompt, I did think it was a little bad faith. I've talked to Sarah since then. I don't think it'll happen again, but I agree with you. All right, back to James Comer and John Solomon explaining the grand conspiracy. And you just tell me, you tell me if this is convincing at all.
That starting with Russia, and the Russia hoax, all the way through Jack Smith, we're talking about every incident.
As a reminder to our MAGA friends here, 35 indictments, multiple guilty pleas during the Russia hoax, where people actually went to jail, and Trump's team was working with Russia, and that's what they lied about, and that's why they went to jail. It absolutely happened. There is no such thing as a Russia hoax. They just call it a hoax because Trump wasn't put behind bars, and they don't understand what that investigation was about, and they know that you guys are dumb as shit, and so you'll just repeat what they say. So they say Russia hoax, you say Russia hoax. None of you seem to know that it wasn't a hoax and that people actually went to jail over this.
Of weaponization used against Donald Trump, and how it could be part of a broader, grander conspiracy theory, a conspiracy that actually took place, and law-breaking involved in it. And that also the statute of limitations would not be applicable in this case as a result. And this would include names like Comey and Clapper and Brennan. Take it from there.
Yeah, and Barack Obama, too, because he was in on these early meetings. So what the FBI has done is treated the last decade of weaponization, all the great work that James Comer has turned up through his oversight committee, and put it into a timetable and said, this looks like an ongoing conspiracy, a wash, rinse, repeat cycle of Democrat gets in legal trouble. Hillary Clinton in her email case.
All right, let's talk about that. So they're going to do wash, rinse, and recycle. Hillary Clinton and her email scandal. The reason that Hillary Clinton was not put in jail is because John Podesta wasn't put in jail. And what John Podesta did before, not John Podesta, that's the email guy. What's his name? Somebody help me out on this. The guy that was a general under the Bush administration. Jesus Christ, why can't I remember his name now? You guys have it? Somebody's got to have that. Let's see how smart the chat is. Petraeus, thank you, Rasta Ranch. General Petraeus. General Petraeus had leaked classified documents to his side piece, and they were far more serious than Hillary Clinton's. Hillary Clinton's, the problem with her emails is you couldn't really prove that anybody else read them or that she sent them to somebody else. They just were not very secure. And so if you're going to take General Petraeus and he willfully shares classified documents and he gets a slap on the wrist, you can't then turn around and jail Hillary Clinton. That's why Hillary Clinton's not in jail. That's why Hillary Clinton got a slap on the wrist, because that's what our law says. That's what we've done historically. That's what the precedent is, that if you mishandle classified information and you're not actually giving it to a foreign government or an enemy of the state, you're probably not going to go to jail. You can hate that, you can love it, but it is precedent. That's why Hillary Clinton's didn't go anywhere.
Hunter Biden with his taxes.
Hunter Biden is not an elected official, so I don't know what the fuck that has to do with. He pled guilty. He had to pay a fine for his taxes. So I don't know what they're talking about there either, because Hunter Biden was convicted.
Biden with his classified documents, they're let off the hook.
And Biden with his classified documents, the Republicans did a special investigation, and Robert Hur found that he did mishandle classified documents, but there was no willful retention, and there was no refusal to give those documents back. Where with Trump, obviously there was willful retention, and he denied the request from NARA and the FBI to return them, so that's the difference. But they always have to do this. They can't ever just tell you the truth. What they have to do is they have to build this bullshit conspiracy. And the reason I wanted to go one by one is because these things have happened on both sides. So if you're going to build this conspiracy case, it's a fucking nightmare. Because you're gonna have to do this on both sides all the way back. Everything they did, you're gonna build a conspiracy case. We'll just be gridlocked. We'll never accomplish anything. Could we please stop investigating shit, Republicans, that has already been investigated? I don't know why you guys are so desperate to like bring that. We could give a fuck about Hillary Clinton. We could give a fuck about that. We don't care. It's not gonna hurt us. It's not gonna hurt the party. Nobody out there is like, I love Hillary. Nobody gives a fuck. There's not anybody on the other side of the aisle that gives a fuck if you investigate Hillary Clinton, but that you already did, and we already know what the result is. We already know that she mishandled classified documents. We know that. We already did the Benghazi hearing. We know what happened there too. Are we really going to go back? Like, if we really want to go back and investigate everybody who cost American lives in the course of war, like every president's just going to be a war criminal. And I guess if we're going to do it, let's do it. But let's not do it one-sided if we're going to do it.
Even when there is extraordinary evidence suggesting they shouldn't be left off the hook. And then a parallel track occurs where the Republican, in this case Donald Trump, is investigated falsely for things like Russia collusion.
He wasn't investigated. We have to clear that up at some point. His campaign team was investigated, and they were working with Russia. What they didn't find is that Trump knew definitively about it. In fact, actually what they said is at the end of that, we cannot exonerate Trump and we cannot say that he's guilty. That's up to Congress to decide if they want to charge Trump. So there was evidence there that at least maybe Trump knew. That's basically what the evidence said. But it wasn't an investigation into Trump, and we found guilty people.
Ukrainian interference.
Well, that also happened. Not Ukrainian interference. It was Donald Trump. Again, I don't know why we have to misstate all this. The reason that Donald Trump got in trouble with Ukraine and the reason that Joe Biden didn't are twofold. One, Joe Biden wasn't the president, so he had no authority to withhold those funds. Ultimately, it was Obama who chose to withhold those funds or not. Two, Joe Biden and Obama had the backing of Congress and all of our allies that said, we got to get rid of this prosecutor out of Ukraine who is refusing to investigate any of these companies because he is a Russian plant, which is exactly why when that prosecutor was fired, he fled to Russia. He just went straight to Russia. Trump took congressionally appropriated funds and he held them past the time he was allowed to keep them, which I believe is 90 days, and he used them as leverage to get dirt on a political opponent. That's why Trump was impeached for that. They are not the same. Just because the country's the same and just because they both threatened to withhold aid doesn't mean that they're the same. The crime, and Republicans are so great at just lying to you about what the crime was. It has nothing to do with threatening to withhold aid. You can absolutely do that as the president. What you can't do is take congressionally appropriated funds and hold them past, I'm pretty sure it's 90 days. Somebody can check me on that. I think it's 90 days. And you also cannot take congressionally appropriated funds and use them as leverage to collect dirt on a political opponent. And by the way, if Joe Biden had, let's just say Joe Biden was president and it wasn't Obama. Let's make it sixes. And Joe Biden said, I am going to withhold these funds from you unless you fire this prosecutor who's investigating my son, then it would be a real story. But the prosecutor was refusing to investigate Burisma. They had asked the prosecutor to investigate Burisma, and he didn't do it. And the next prosecutor that replaced the one that ran to Russia did investigate Burisma. And then Trump got them to investigate Burisma again. And both of those investigations found the same thing, that the owner of Burisma, who guess where he is now? In Russia, was a Russian plant. And that the reason that the investigator would not investigate Burisma is because Putin didn't want him to. So they were both in it together. That's the difference between these stories. If you guys are going to tell the stories, it would be fucking great if you told the stories accurately instead of just the parts that make it look like they were the same thing, which is exactly what Solomon's doing here.
His own documents at his home in Mar-a-Lago. This is a criminal conspiracy. By treating it as a conspiracy, you eliminate...
And then the Mar-a-Lago case. This one's so fucking easy. Why did Mike Pence not get investigated? Why did Joe Biden not get investigated? Why did Obama not get investigated? because they reached out to NARA, who owns these documents, by the way. We do. NARA, it works for us. All of us, everybody here that lives in America, that's an American citizen, all of those documents are ours. They are not Trump's, they're not Biden's, they're not Obama's, they're not Mike Pence's, they're ours. We own them. And it's NARA's job to keep track of those documents. And yes, presidents can hold on to classified documents for particular reasons. NARA needs to be aware of it. So NARA said, hey, do you have these documents? And Trump said, no. And they're like, okay. So they went and they looked and they can't find them. So they reach out again and they're like, do you have these documents? And Trump said, no. So they reached out again. They said, here's a list of the documents that we need. You need to send these back. And Trump said, okay. And he sent some back. And then NARA got those back and they said, okay, this is not like we have a whole list here. You only sent some back. And Trump said, okay. And then he sent some back. And then NARA said, you need to send these documents back. And Trump said, no. And NARA said, we don't have an enforcement arm. So NARA went to the FBI, and they went to the FBI and they said, look, we've got a problem. These documents need to come back to us. Donald Trump is telling us no. So the FBI reaches out and says, you need to send these back. NARA has the legal authority as the FBI. We're telling you, you need to send these back. Like, we're law enforcement now. We're involved. You got to send these back. And Trump said, we did. And they said, no, you didn't. And he said, we did. They said, no, you didn't. And then he said, okay, I'll send some back. And then he sent them back, and it wasn't all of them. And then they said, do you still have these documents? And he said, no. And there was no other place the documents could be. So eventually, the FBI said, fuck it, we're raiding. And they gave Trump a heads up. They're like, we're going to raid tomorrow. And they told his lawyer. That's why Trump wasn't there when they raided. He knew they were coming. So then they show up, and they do the raid, and guess what they found? The documents that Trump claimed he didn't have. The very ones he said they didn't have, they found. And then they found all these other documents on stages and in bathrooms, in places that were easily accessible. And they said these were, not only are these mishandled documents, you also lied about them. So the crime that Trump had was that he just didn't comply. If he would have just sent all of those back when he was supposed to, there would have been no investigation. But that's why it's different than Biden. Biden called NARA and said, hey, can you come look through everything I have and just take whatever isn't supposed to be here? And they're like, sure. And Mike Pence said, hey, can you come look through my documents? And if there's anything I shouldn't have, take it. Sure. Same with Obama. They all do this. Sometimes documents aren't classified when you get them. They become classified later. So there's always mistakes that could be made. But this equivocating between what happened with Biden and what happened with Trump is so fucking ludicrous that you have to be an absolute brain-dead shitworm to believe that they are even remotely the same thing. It's just you guys have this entire victimhood complex with Trump, where everything that happens to Trump is just TDS, and we're all victims together. No, all he had to do was send the shit back, and they gave him like 1 million opportunities to do it. These are not corrupt investigations. So what they're telling you here is, and they're being transparent, is we don't like how you guys were mean to Trump, so we're going to try and do the same shit to you. None of this will go anywhere. They will waste time. They will waste resources. I will literally eat my shirt if this leads to charges. I'll literally, I don't know how I'm going to do it. Like, we might or this person or this person. They always tell us that they're going to show us the Biden crime family, and then they just never fucking do it. They just never have any evidence. They can never even bring charge. They didn't even try and impeach Joe Biden. They didn't even bring articles of impeachment against Joe Biden. And yet they'll still tell you right to your fucking face that Joe Biden was a criminal, that there was this Biden crime family. They proved nothing. They're just doing this so that you guys can feel good about Donald Trump being a criminal, and you can be like, oh, well, everybody's a criminal. It's not just Trump. Everybody's doing what he did. Steam is down? What do you mean Steam is down? What's going on? The stream is down? All right. On TikTok, I see some people are saying it's down, some aren't. Just scroll in and out, and if it doesn't work, you head over to YouTube and watch it over there. I'll continue this.
8 to 5 year statutes on individual crimes. If something happened in 2016, but it was part of an ongoing conspiracy that continued with Jack Smith raiding Donald Trump's home at Mar-a-Lago, it can be charged in the larger conspiracy, even though if you tried to charge it in an individual case, you wouldn't get it. Furthermore, you could also change the venue. Remember the troubles John Durham had bringing prosecutions to Washington, D.C.? Jurors wouldn't convict, even if they thought there was criminality going on. In this case, you could pick a place like Florida, where where Jack Smith did the raid on Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago house and say that's where we're putting the grand jury. You get a more fair jury pool, a more fair.
Can I just point out that that would be a more fair jury pool, right? That would be a biased jury pool. It's fine if you want to say that the jury pool in D.C. might be biased, but if your response to that is take it to a place that's biased for the president, you're not asking for a fair jury pool. A fair jury pool might be like in Maine. Go find me a blue state. Go to Alaska. Go to Arizona. Find me like a purple state. Go to Maricopa County. But they're openly telling you like they don't want fairness. They want bias. They want to rig this game entirely so that they can have bias.
Grand jury pool, it gives Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, an enormous amount of flexibility to do something historic. Finally bring some accountability for all the things that Chairman Comer and Chairman Johnson, Chairman Grassley, Chairman Jordan have brought and proved to the American people.
Yeah, okay.
And by prove, of course, he means have never proven anything. Ever. 6 Cents Amelia said, thank you, RTP Talks. Appreciate you very much. Just a reminder, we are crowdfunded. It's 11/11. Make a wish. Kristen says, MAGA's desperation and misery warms my heart. Latifa said, thank you. Betsy, thanks for joining the dollar train. I'll check on Jen's there. Well, and I'll update that. I think I got that. I just am now seeing the gerrymandering comment that Jen clipped. All right, moving on here. This is bad news for James Comer, though. I want to point this out, and then we'll move on. According to NBC News, James Comer has repeatedly pushed that there's an autopen theory to undermine Biden and his policies. In June, Trump ordered an investigation into the matter and said it was one of the most dangerous and concerning scandals in American history. Guys, don't you feel scared about the autopen? Do you not think that this is one of the most dangerous and concerning scandals in American history? How are we going to make it? Biden has denied the allegations, calling them ridiculous and false. Comer's committee has taken up Trump's push in Congress. He has sent 16 letters to former Biden White House officials requesting transcribed interviews. In all 16 of those letters, metadata reveals his signature was a digital picture inserted into the letter. Right there. You can see they've pulled the metadata. There's the author, Mitchell Benzine. These are just pictures. Oh, no. James Comer's sending out letters with the autopen. No! The conspiracy gets bigger. Just so we know. While he's saying that you can't use autopen, he's literally out here doing autopen. But it doesn't matter to MAGA. No one's even going to hear that story. They're just going to keep going with it like it was no big deal. Here's the inflation that we were talking about. Jim, I hope you're still here. This is year-over-year inflation. This is consumer price index. We saw a drop in April to 2.3, slight uptick in May, and now an uptick to 2.7 in June. Most economists are saying that this is, at least in part, due to the tariffs. This stuff you guys have been saying about inflation dropping, not true. It's not dropping. It's going up. Inflation is on the rise. If you dropped the tariffs, by the way, this would probably level out. If you don't drop the tariffs, I imagine we see that going up. So we'll just see. We'll see if the economists are right. Now, all of them said that if you continue these tariffs, inflation will go up. We're starting to see it now, and now we're going to find out. If Trump sticks with the tariffs and inflation goes up, then what do you guys say? What do you think the Republican argument's going to be there? If let's just say that we're in September now, we still have tariffs, we're collecting record revenues for tariffs, and inflation's going up. Then what? I think that they'll just say, "Oh, we don't care because we're collecting all this money. Oh, it's okay. We needed a reset." Sometimes you got to go through some hard times in order to fix things, something like that. Or just blame Joe Biden. That could be it too. Here's core inflation. There's two lines here. The red line is the CPI that I just showed you, and this is core inflation. This is since 2019. You can see core CPI going up. That excludes food and energy. So there's core inflation, and then on the heels of this, as inflation goes up, here's what Trump decides to do to try and distract you. Trump says, "I've always suspected Shifty Adam Schiff We're on the Shifty Adam Schiff on the literally within. I think this was like 7 minutes after the inflation numbers came out. Here comes Donald Trump. This is incoherent. I can't even figure out what the fuck he's talking about. Where were I when inflation was Biden-Harris levels? I was covering inflation, and I was explaining why we had inflation. And I wasn't blaming Donald Trump. I was just explaining how inflation works. Welcome to my show. But I covered all of that inflation all the time. And the dumbass Republicans would show up every time and go, "That's Joe Biden's fault." And I would explain what was causing the inflation, just like I'm doing now. The inflation is being caused in part due to the tariffs, which is true. And you took that as, "Don't say mean things about Donald Trump. What would you say about Biden and Harris?" I said the same thing. I explained how what was causing inflation. Again, if you guys are new here, I'm not a Democrat. I could give a fuck about the Democrats. I can't stand most of the Democrats. I think that they are basically just like generic Republicans, except for they're a little better on social issues. That's it. I don't know. If you're new here, stick around, because when the left is in office, I criticize them too. I was the last 6 months of Biden administration. Every day we covered how sick we were about Biden continuing to support Israel. So whatever you want to say about me, I'm consistent there. Here's what Trump wants you to talk about, though. I've always suspected Shifty Adam Schiff was a scam artist, and now I learned that Fannie Mae's Financial Crimes Division have concluded that Adam Schiff is engaged in a sustained pattern of possible mortgage fraud. Adam, that's more important than inflation, by the way, to all of you. Adam Schiff said that his primary residence was in Maryland to get a cheaper mortgage and rip off America when he must live in California because he was a congressman from California. I always knew Adam Schiff was a crook. The fraud began with the refinance of his Maryland property on February 6, 2009, and continued through multiple transactions until the Maryland property was correctly designated as a second home on October 13th, 2020. Mortgage fraud is very serious, and crooked Adam Schiff, now a senator, needs to be brought to justice. All that happened is Adam Schiff was listing his Maryland address as his main residence because that's where he spent most of his time. And he did what all of us are allowed to do and refinance your mortgage. I don't know if it was for lower rates. I don't know if it was to take equity out. I have no idea why he was doing it, but it's not mortgage fraud. And even if it was mortgage fraud, I think it's outside the statute of limitations. But there's virtually no evidence there backing up that he committed a crime at all. This all is based on a Daily Caller article that came out, again, ironically, on the same day as inflation was announced being higher, where they said Adam Schiff said that his primary residence was in Maryland to get a cheaper mortgage and rip off. Oh, that was Trump. CNN first reported this in 2023 under the Biden administration. CNN, those communist news, those Biden dick riders, those Adam Schiff dick riders that would never tell you the truth. Yeah, they told you this story in November 2023. This isn't even breaking news. This is just a thing that Trump brought up today, that he heard of today, to distract you from the fact that inflation is going up. So there you go. Let's see. Then, right after that, Trump tweeted this. Truth this. Consumer prices low. Bring down the Fed rate now. I mean, we just saw CPI, and it's projected to rise. Trump wants to sell a bunch of debt right now, though. He's got to figure out a way to pay for these massive tax cuts. So he needs to sell a bunch of debt at low rates. So he's just begging the Fed, "Hey, help me pay for this tax break for my friends by bringing down rates so I can sell debt." Don't worry about prices, though, guys. We're fine like that because Ben Shapiro has the solution. Ben Shapiro has figured out how we can fix Social Security and Medicare and inflation. We don't have to worry about any of this stuff. All you have to do is work for the rest of your life and never retire.
And let's be real about this. It's insane that we haven't raised the retirement age in the United States.
GDP and value of dollars dropping. Maybe they were confused. Yeah, maybe, Amy.
It's totally crazy. Joe Biden, if that were the case, Joe Biden should not be running for president. Hey, Joe Biden is 81 years old. The retirement age in the United States at which you start to receive Social Security and you are eligible for Medicare is 65. Joe Biden has technically been eligible for Social Security and Medicare for 16 years, and he wants to continue in office until he is 86, which is 19 years past when he would be eligible for retirement.
Obviously, this is an older video.
No one in the United States should be retiring at 65 years old. Frankly, I think retirement itself is a stupid idea unless you have some sort of health problem. Everybody that I know who is elderly, who has retired, is dead within 5 years. I mean, if you talk to people who are elderly and they lose their purpose in life by losing their job and they stop working, things go to hell in a handbasket real quick. But put all of that aside, just on a fiscal level and on a logical level. When Franklin Delano Roosevelt established 65 as the retirement age, the average life expectancy in the United States was 63 years old. Today, the average life expectancy in the United States is close to 80. It's totally insane that you believe that you should be able to work from the time that you are essentially 20 to the time that you are 65, which is a 45-year period, pay in, and then you will receive Social Security benefits sufficient to support you and your family, you and your wife or whatever, for like another 20 years.
I have a problem with this. Flawed logic here. Everybody that retires dies within 5 years, he said 1 minute ago. Today, and now, I have a problem with this. What, you think they're going to pay for you to live for 20 years? I thought they only lived for 5, Ben. I thought if you retired, you died within 5 years. The problem with this logic. But also, fucking, yes. Yeah, you should be able to retire at 65. If you put in 45 years of work in your life, you should be able to enjoy the end of your life without having to work. Yeah, you should be able to do that. No problem with that.
That's crazy talk.
It's crazy.
That is not fiscally sustainable.
Every other country does it. And we've been doing it forever. It is sustainable. The only reason Social Security is not sustainable is because we steal from it and we don't raise the cap. We're not willing to tax people appropriately to make it sustainable. That's the only reason that Social Security is not sustainable.
The notion that if you have to raise the retirement age to 67 or 68, that everyone is going to fall apart. My parents are that age. My parents are not retired. And they shouldn't retire. It would be very bad for them to retire. By the way, it's disrespectful to people who are 67, 68, 69 years old to suggest that they are in the same shape as people who are 60.
It's disrespectful. That's the real problem here. Imagine how disrespected you would feel. Do we have anybody here that's 67 years old? How disrespected would you feel right now if we came to you and you were like, hey, here's some Social Security? Can you imagine how disrespected you would feel at that point? What? You want to give me money that I paid into for 45 years? You piece of shit. Imagine the disrespect you would feel if somebody told you that you could have Social Security.
5 were in 1940. It's not true at all. Have you met a 65-year-old lately?
Yeah.
65-year-olds are not old in the United States. They're not. 68-year-olds are not old in the United States.
Okay.
Again, Joe Biden thinks he's not old, and that dude is running for president again, and that dude actually is old, and he's 81.
Okay.
I failed to see how a country in which our entire leadership class is 80+ is telling you that we should have a retirement age of 65. It makes no sense at all.
Yeah, because some people want to retire. Some people don't want to work. Some people paid into that on purpose. It's kind of like we made a promise to them that if they paid into Social Security, then they would get Social Security. It also kept, I think immediately when we did Social Security, it took like 2/3 of our elderly out of poverty. The reason we did Social Security in the first place is because old people didn't have any money and they were just going to die. They were going to die. They weren't going to have money for housing. They were going to have money for food. They were going to have money for medicine, for seeing a doctor. They were just going to die unless they had family who could take care of them. And not everybody had family that could take care of them. So we did Social Security. It's like a savings account, a retirement account, so that people would automatically be forced to put their money into Social Security. And that way, no matter what happened in their life, if their finances went to shit, let's say they're 62 and one of their kids gets cancer and they have to sell their house and mortgage everything to try and pay for their kid's cancer treatment. Well, they can still live because they have Social Security when they turn 65. That was the whole point. The whole point was there was a problem. And the problem is that like 60+% of our elderly lived in poverty, below the poverty line, and that was unsustainable. So we had to come up with a new program to lift those people out from below the poverty line. And so we did Social Security, and it worked, and it was a marvelous success. So much so that Republicans, seeing how popular it was, have done things to limit that. I think, was it Social Security too, when after Social Security, when we introduced term limits? Wasn't that after Social Security because it was too popular? Let me see. What year did we introduce term limits? Was it Social Security or Medicare that it was after that? You may know. It was one of those two programs. Might have been both at the same time. That was 1951. When was Social Security started? 35. Yeah. So it was it was after that, because after that it was Roosevelt. Roosevelt was basically, it was so popular that like nobody was going to vote Roosevelt out. And so they're just like, oh, now we got to put in term limits, because if they realize that if people set up like large social safety nets, that those voters were going to be incredibly loyal. And so the Republicans are like, oh, we can't have that. We can't have people loyal. And so we've got to change this. Or I guess conservatives at the time. Let's maybe not say Republicans. Conservatives said, we can't have that. We got to keep doing the bidding of big business. So we better slap term limits on here so we can trick people. And then ever since then, it's just been that. It's been Social Security, which is a very popular program that works, and Republicans constantly trying to gut it all the time so they can give tax breaks to their billionaire friends. So that's pretty cool. Chick punk, get fucked. You can say whatever you want. You can keep spamming the same shit, chick punk, but you already got dunked on today. There's no amount of talking shit to me is going to undo the embarrassment that happened to you today. If I were you, I'd lay low for a bit. That's probably what I would do. Liberals' plan is on RTP's wall. Gerrymandering. Is that my wall? I don't know. All right, let's get into two things first. I first want to talk about somebody that I absolutely can't stand before we introduce the Epstein files. If you've been a relatively long time viewer of this show, you know that I am not a fan of Jessica Reed Krause, or House Inhabit. She was one of those people that showed up and got the Epstein files. She got that binder and she put it behind a paywall on Substack while she went through it. Forced a bunch of people to join her Substack, didn't tell them that the entire thing was blacked out and that it was literally nothing. I also want to add one other thing. For everybody who complains about Joe Biden and the Epstein files, see this binder here that Pam Bondi made for them and put those files in there? Do you know who declassified those? That was Joe Biden. Everything in that binder is stuff that Joe Biden had already declassified. It was good enough for Pam Bondi to make a binder out of it and do a special presentation and tell everybody that we literally on the binder it said the most transparent administration in history. And the lack of transparency was telling them that this had already been declassified, that we already had this stuff. This had already happened during the Biden administration. So just to point out like the obvious here, under Trump, we saw the death of Jeffrey Epstein. Then they didn't release any of those files. And then under the Biden administration, there was some pressure to release the files. Not even from our own voters, by the way. Democrats largely weren't pushing for that. And then Joe Biden declassified it. And then Donald Trump took credit for it. And they put it on a binder that said most transparent administration in history. While at the same time, by the way, after Joe Biden released that, you saw all these these same content creators, DC Drano, I forget Blondie's name, and is that Rychek? Is that in the white? Is that Libs of TikTok? I think that's the Libs of TikTok lady. They all were like, oh, look at all this stuff redacted by the Biden administration. They're not transparent. And then Trump just released the same thing and called it transparency. And then now we're not going to cover it. So all of these content creators are kind of fucked right now, and they're trying to figure out like where to go because they can't criticize Trump too much or they lose their audience. But one content creator, House Inhabit, has decided to go full-on apologist. This is her post. You can see this is her Instagram here showing, and this is her in the Trump was right about everything hat there. That was from her Instagram. She also posted lies can be beautiful. Elon Musk. She gained fame by covering the Johnny Depp trial. That's where some of you might know her. And then all of a sudden she was like political. Then she jumped on the RFK train. Let's talk about RFK. She claims she was a Democrat her whole life, which I believe. She claims that she was radicalized by COVID. And then naturally she's working for the RFK campaign, who is also on the Epstein files, who is also a sexual abuser. He's admitted to being a sexual abuser to his babysitter. He's admitted that he was not a good guy. He's admitted that he flew on the Epstein plane. He's admitted that they were friends. So naturally, whatever Jessica Reed Krause has, with abusive men, she latched onto that. And then it was no problem for her, none at all, for her to jump from RFK to Donald Trump. She posted this the other day. The internet is so dumb, sometimes it hurts. I've tracked the Maxwell story intensely for 4 years. I didn't create this storyline. Trump did. I'm merely responding to the news cycle based on what I know, which is more than most in this case. Forgive me for not supporting a woman serving extensive jail time for trafficking minors to no one. Sorry for correcting a lie that pinned the Epstein memo fiasco on a woman who was not on the email to save face for two men. This is where it gets sick for me for House and Habit. She is positioning this as if Jeffrey Epstein was not going to serve a prison sentence, and that they pinned all of this on her. No, she was just who was left. Epstein is dead. And if the person you committed crimes with dies, that doesn't mean that you don't have to go to jail. She is famous for wearing a Free Ghislaine shirt. She is now saying that maybe Maxwell deserves a pardon or a retrial. She's now advocating for the woman who trafficked girls to Jeffrey Epstein. A woman who, by the way, who multiple people have testified, taught them specifically how to please Jeffrey Epstein, taught them techniques, walked them through, like, on Jeffrey Epstein. This is how you do it. This is how you make Jeffrey happy. This is what you do. She recruited from Mar-a-Lago. That's where they found Virginia. Giuffre? Trafficked her from Mar-a-Lago. Taught her how to do this. This woman is not innocent by any stretch of the imagination. It is fucking baffling to me to see a woman, a mother with children, consistently side with sexual abusers. Consistently. She's always siding with these sexual abusers, and I don't know why she's doing it. And now she's hiding behind Maxwell, saying, like, oh, Maxwell was mistreated. She said, I'll be pushing for a retrial or a pardon until that happens, especially in light of recent news. Everyone should wonder why one woman is serving 20 years for trafficking minors to no one. What the fuck? Is Jeffrey Epstein no one? She's in jail because of the charges of her taking children and trafficking them to Jeffrey Epstein. And House and Habit here is saying she is serving 20 years for trafficking minors to no one. This is the Trump media. This is why Trump likes these people in media. That's why they have this new special media designation. This is somebody who's been in the Oval. This is somebody who has the ear of very influential people inside of MAGA. She says also, this isn't a child sex trafficking ring, as much as media clings to that as a salacious headline. It's a deeply layered tale involving arms dealing, spies, Mossad, CIA, Bill Barr, teenage prostitution, and so much more. This is teenage prostitution? What the fuck is teenage prostitution? Is she trying to, like, smooth over that children were being trafficked? Is this victim blaming? What are we doing here? Teenage prostitution? That's called sex trafficking. It's rape. Are they consenting now? Like, there was a financial incentive? This is fucking bizarre. For those of us who understand it on a deeper level, it's an uncomfortable saga to unravel because the good guys, who seem to be the good guys, are often not. Well, yeah, Jessica. Look at the people you're fucking supporting. Why are they all... Yeah, you thought they were the good guys. Sometimes they're not. And the victims, framed as victims, are often not. Victims in this case are children being sex trafficked. And she's saying the victims, framed as victims, are often not. Right after she talks about teenage prostitution. Can you imagine being like this kid? One of her kids? This is fucking sick. For somebody who, like, she rails like, California, all these demon liberals that just want to abuse your kids. They want your kids to accept different pronouns. That's evil. But this The victims framed as victims are often not. Which of these children is not a victim? Which of these teenagers is not a victim? Just out of curiosity. I'm going to get into my complicated perspective on Maxwell because I listed pages of articles linked to read through if you care about to understand it in depth, which, fair enough. If you want to learn about this in depth, you can go to House and Habits Instagram and you can look about it, read it in depth. The bottom line is, I believe she was groomed to become the woman she became, which was a sex trafficker of children. She was probably groomed. Fair enough. Still a crime. That's not unusual for somebody who commits horrific crimes against children that they weren't groomed sometimes at some point in their life. That happens. Hurt people, abuse people. That does happen. That doesn't mean that you are not responsible for the crimes. The bottom line is, I believe, there it was, which landed her in jail with a new life sentence while all of the powerful men she serviced remained free and untouched and reputation. Well, Epstein was in jail. And that's who we know so far for sure that she serviced. So we're going to need to see other documents before we could say. But even if all of that is true, she still deserves to be in jail. You don't release her because you assume that other people should also be in jail. And many of the victims who are making millions of dollars off this case are in fact not victims of this scenario. Majority of them traveled willingly as escorts on lavish private jets to luxury islands across the world, but turned and named her when the Epstein fund was established after his death, and they needed a person to name as an abuser to claim the funds. Even this is fucking sick. If you agree to fly on a private jet to an island with Jeffrey Epstein, let's just assume in this case she's talking about willing adults. Let's just assume she's talking about willing adults here. Are you saying then that because you were treated to a private jet and a lavish island, that then any sexual abuse that you endure after that was warranted, and therefore you are not a victim? The victim blaming here is off the fucking charts. It's off the fucking charts here. Unseal the documents. Everybody who's involved in this should go to jail. Everyone. Prince Andrew should be in jail. If Donald Trump's involved, he should be in jail. If Alan Dershowitz is involved, he should be in jail. All this should be uncovered. If Obama, if Oprah, if whoever you guys, Joe Biden, whoever, anybody in those documents should be in jail. But to go out here and frame Maxwell as a victim, call teenagers prostitutes, and claim that if you were treated nicely by being sent to an island on a private jet, then therefore your abuse is justified and you are not a victim, is fucking wild to me. This is sick. And look, I don't know Jessica Reed Krause. All I can say is that one of two things is true about her. She is either sick in the fucking head defending Maxwell right now, or she's paid. And it seems an awful lot like she might be paid, because 3 years ago she was a gossip journalist, and now she's a Washington insider running cover for two known sexual abusers in RFK and Donald Trump. So to me, it seems an awful lot like she's getting paid to defend powerful people. And that somehow Maxwell is not responsible. Maybe she feels some type of way about the cover that she's run for powerful people. And maybe she sees in herself that, yeah, she's lied for powerful people too. She's covered shit up too. And she's done it in the name of making money for by covering RFK and Donald Trump Jr. And maybe she feels a little bit like Maxwell. Maybe she feels like she was used. And maybe she feels like she was just doing her job, even though her job was to cover up horrific behavior. Maybe this is a little bit of guilt. I don't know. But I'm baffled by a parent, somebody who loves to talk about pronouns and trans children and how evil that is, now justifying Maxwell and saying, maybe Maxwell's not a problem here. Maybe we really ought to just pardon Maxwell. And she's pushing for Donald Trump to pardon Maxwell, which, by the way, if Trump wants all this shit to go away, he can pardon Maxwell. That pretty much ends it. He can pardon her and she'll never testify. And yeah, a lot of you guys will get pissed and he'll never win re-election again. And maybe he'll just take over, or maybe he'll just fade into obscurity. But advocating for a pardon for Maxwell is pretty fucking sick, if you ask me. I want to go here. This is the front page of Drudge Report as of this morning. Republicans block Maxwell testimony. What is Trump hiding? This is because there have been multiple votes now, and there will be multiple more votes held in committees where Democrats now are saying, "Hey, this was your thing. We'll go along with it for you guys. You guys want everything to be declassified. We'll just make a motion that we should declassify the Epstein files." And Republicans now are going on record saying, "No, no, we're not doing that." Why? Why the fuck do you think Republicans are voting to not release the Epstein files? Explain it to me. Explain it to me like I'm 6. Explain to me how the fuck Republicans have gone from, the Democrats are in the Epstein files. Oh, it's going to get Joe Biden. Oh, it's going to get Obama. Oh, it's going to get Oprah. Oh, it's going to get Tom Hanks. Oh, it's going to take down all these powerful people, and we'll march them through the streets, and we'll send them to Guantanamo. And then it's pretty fucking obvious that Trump's all over those. It's pretty fucking obvious that RFK's all over those. It's pretty fucking obvious that Dershowitz is all over those. And now you're like, I don't really know about releasing it. What good is that going to do? Yeah, if we release it, how's that going to help? So now you have all these fucking Republicans who have been campaigning on release the Epstein files, and they're like, hey, release them. And they're like, no, we're not going to. You know why. Every fucking person in here knows exactly why they're not releasing it. And you're either lying to us or lying to yourself or both. You know as well as we know that those files contain Donald fucking Trump. That's what you know. You all fucking know it. And that's why you're saying, I don't really care about this anymore. We campaigned on it. It's all I fucking heard about for 8 years. My whole family, every one of them. Oh, it's the Epstein files. Oh, they're covering up the Epstein files. Oh, they're covering up the Epstein files. Now it's like, bring them out. No, we don't want it anymore. Yeah, why? You all know fucking why. And you are such a fucking liar if you are saying now, like, no, we shouldn't release them. You know why. It's because Trump's in them, and I don't know how much he's in them, but you know that he's in them. You know goddamn well he's in them because we know the stories. You know goddamn well that the stories that we tell you that maybe you haven't heard, so we should tell them to you. The stories about Donald Trump running these like fashion shows and with underage girls, some of them over 18, some of them just under 18. And it's like him and Epstein running a fashion show. And then they have a party afterwards where these grown men are drinking and dancing with underage girls. That's in there. And you've been able to just, I don't believe it. Oh, where did that come from? CNN? I don't have to believe that. But once it's in the files, you can't really say that those don't exist anymore. You all know the same shit we know. Trump's in those files. Trump's a dirtbag. Trump probably abused women. Maybe some were underage. Maybe some weren't. You all know why you oppose this. It's because he's in them. And it shows a lot about you if you are somebody who doesn't want to release the Epstein files. And by the way, I think most of you Republicans, most of the ones I know, want them released. I think this is a place where like Republicans, Democrats, Independents, like there's like most people just want to see him released. At this point, just show them then. And everything that this administration is doing is making it more and more suspicious. What are you going to do? Are you going to honestly flip your opinion if Trump, are you just going to go with it if Trump pardons Maxwell? Are you just going to go with it if they never release these files? They promised to release them, then they'd release them, and they didn't actually release them. And then they said that here comes the list. We're going to release all the files, and then they just don't. Are you just going to pretend like that never happened and move on with your life out of curiosity? That's pretty wild. How much time do we have left? About an hour and 15. Just a reminder, we're crowdfunded. We're about a little less than halfway there. Christine says, Republicans' favorite pivot. What about Biden? Biden didn't get invited to parties. That's why Biden's not ever in any of these parties. He's just not a very fun person to hang around with. Unfortunately, even if Biden was a bad guy, nobody invited him to do anything. So I don't think he's going to be on anybody's lists. Check comments here from Jen. See if I missed any there. Yeah, Gerrymandering's in the chat. That's beautiful. And then just a quick update over on TikTok. Who's in the lead? Your mommy in the lead. Roster Ranch. Oh, no, not. Last Phoenix Falling in the lead with Gemini, then Your Mommy, Roster Ranch, and Our Baron. Just a reminder, we do need to gift over on TikTok in order to keep the TikTok running over there. So anything you can do to support us and our HR rep over there at TikTok would be greatly appreciated. Let's get into the real Epstein stuff now. Here's what we're talking about. The Rules Committee, Ro Khanna, put forward an amendment in the Rules Committee to release the Epstein files that would basically just force a vote, that would force the House to vote on it. It lost 7-5. All 5 Democrats voted for it, or 4 Democrats voted for it, and 1 Republican.
Breaking news, the Republican-controlled House Rules Committee has just voted to block the release of the Epstein files. Joining us now, the member of Congress who forced that vote, Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna of California. Congressman Khanna, give us the latest situation with the House Rules Committee.
Well, it's very disappointing. I had a very simple amendment that the full Epstein files should be released. It went for a vote to the House Rules Committee.
I want to add one other thing. I think that you guys supporting it is because you think Trump, or not supporting it is because you think Trump's in it. I do think that Joe Biden, and I do think that Democrats also didn't want to release the full files. But I think it's for different reasons. And I'm open to different explanations, but I think that the reason most likely that there's not support by politicians is because Israel is implicated. I think that's pretty fucking obvious. I think we all know that. I think that Israel. I mean, who at this point denies that Epstein was an asset of Israel? Like, they've confirmed it essentially. The people that worked in Israeli intelligence have confirmed it, that Epstein was an asset. I think that's the real reason that Biden didn't release everything. I think that's why a lot of the stuff was redacted. And I think that Biden, like most U.S. presidents, has this weird loyalty to Israel. And I fucking hate that. And we need to get rid of that. But I think that that's why Democrats were against it as well.
Jim McGovern, who is the ranking member for House Democrats, made sure that all 4 Democrats voted for the release. Ralph Norman, a Republican, actually joined with the Democrats, saying
that's right. It's anti-Semitic to release it. It will all be called anti-Semitic if we release the Epstein files.
That there should be a vote on the full release. Chip Roy didn't show up for the vote, but 7 other Republicans blocked it. So as of now, there is going to be no vote tomorrow, up or down vote on whether the Epstein files should be released.
If Dems had released it, they would have said it was a lie and a fake. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think so. I think that's probably true.
And this was the first stage of your attempt to get a full vote by the House of Representatives, to see a full recorded vote. Everyone could see how their member of Congress voted on this issue. And that's what was blocked by the Rules Committee, not allowing you to get to that stage on the floor. Why would it be important to have that recorded vote on the floor?
Well, in a very simple way, we should see whose side are you on. That's really what this Epstein file issue has become. It's not just about knowing who's being protected, the rich.
Is that real, Kelly? Tim Pool tweeted that Democrats are trying to release CP. Tim Pool, if you're still watching Tim Pool, kindly go fuck yourself. Tim Pool is the most bought and paid for person in media. Between him and Benny Johnson, whoever pays him the most, he's going to say it. Tim Pool is an unequivocal bitch. Everybody thinks Tim Pool's a bitch. Everybody. Tim Pool is bought and paid for. He's a fence sitter. What a crazy fucking take. 2 months ago, he's like, release the Epstein files. Now, don't release it. The Democrats only wanted to release CP. Okay.
The powerful in terms of who had interaction with Jeffrey Epstein. It's the sense that people have that the government is too beholden to certain interests who have their thumb on the scale, and that they're not working for ordinary people. And what the Democrats are saying is, we want to make sure that we get full justice here, that we get full transparency. And this may have been the first attempt that was blocked, but I'll tell you, it's not going to be the last attempt. We already have Representative Vesey, who has a resolution. Leader Jeffries is saying that we're going to push for transparency here. And we can.
All right, I don't care what the Democrats are doing. Yeah, you're right. Tim Pool said what he said. You can't just vote to release the Epstein files because there are victims, videos, and photos in those files. The Khanna amendment would have forced the DOJ to publish everything. Khanna was asking the DOJ to publish videos of children being raped on a public website. It said, Attorney General shall retain, preserve, and compile any records or evidence related to any investigation, prosecution, or incarceration of Jeffrey Epstein. Not later than 30 days after the date of the enactment of this act, the Attorney General shall release and publish any records or evidence related to any investigation, prosecution, or incarceration of Jeffrey Epstein on a publicly accessible website. That doesn't mean that you have to publish the videos. That's crazy. I don't know who told Tim Pool to say that, but good on you. That's going to probably be the line that Republicans trot out. I just don't think it's going to work. I don't think that. I think there's too many pissed off Republicans. I think there's too many people that see right through this. They're not going to allow Trump to just like waft this away like an inconvenient fart. Like you're going to have to do something here, or you're going to lose a massive portion of your voter base. Let's go here. All right. Here's Bill O'Reilly on Fox.
Hey, hold on.
Hey.
So Chick Punk finally found my DMs.
Oh.
So she has demands right now. And more or less, she wants you more or less to agree to a structured 2-minute debate. And she thinks she's doing something now, which is fucking cracking me up. So I said, you asked what she went outside. I'll just send you a screenshot. So what
like she wants to do it right now?
Yeah, right now. But she wants you to agree that you won't talk over her and 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off, blah, 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 blah. So here's some of it. So, but this is just looking worse for you. Well, I mean, she's been going, I finally got the point where it's like, I don't have time for this shit. Do you want to have a conversation or not? So I told her I'd tell you what she's crying about.
I'll give her 2 minutes uninterrupted to start, and then we'll see how it goes. But no, I'm not going to agree to like how the fuck am I? What am I going to watch the clock while I do? She can come up if she wants to. I'll give her 5 minutes to state her case if she wants. That's what you got. Yeah, if she wants, she can have a few minutes to state her case, but I'm going to ask questions. I'm not doing, if she wants a structured debate somewhere else, she can do that, but no, that's silly. Just try to set up a debate, but he's scared to allow me to talk for 42 minutes without interrupting. Yeah, I am afraid to allow you to talk for 42 minutes. Yeah, Chick Punk. Yeah, she can come up. That's fine.
I mean, so that's just, I put it in there, but she thinks that there's, so I think I sent you most of the chat, but.
Oh, there it is. Are we sure? Is Chick Punk fucking what's her name? Millie. Looks like Millie.
Oh fuck! You know what?
Sounds like Millie.
I mean.
Why do they always tell you? They always tell you in the chat whenever anybody talks to Jen. They're always like, "This looks bad for you." No, nobody knows who you are. Like, it doesn't look bad for us. I have a channel. You can. I'll not interrupt you as long as you don't interrupt me. I won't interrupt you unless I'm going to ask you a clarifying question. There's your rules, Chick Punk. I won't interrupt you unless I'm asking a question. Amy Lynn said, "Chick Punk, I bet you're controlling AF." Yeah, this sounds like I'm getting into a unhealthy relationship.
So, I mean, I sent her the link to join. I haven't seen her join the server yet.
All right.
But there's that. So I'll let you know if she agrees.
Magavest, debate me for 37 minutes only. There we go. All right. I'll just keep going. Here is Bill O'Reilly, who back when I was a Republican, like this was my fucking guy. And I don't feel bad, except for it just makes me feel old that Bill O'Reilly is as old as he is now. Because this was my fucking dude right here. And Bill O'Reilly now is trying to go out and run interference for Trump, but he's too old and too uninformed to make a coherent argument. But he's trying his best to run interference for Trump now.
The Biden administration had exactly the same thing the Trump administration has on Epstein. Exactly. Right. Because Epstein was convicted during the Biden administrations. Not one time did Hakeem Jeffrey call for any exposition of what the Biden Justice Department knew. Not once. So this guy's a top phony. Okay, he's a political player. He doesn't care about the truth. He doesn't care about the people.
Hold on, Bill.
This is what
hold on.
he does.
Hold on, Bill. Hold on. You said Epstein was convicted during the Biden administration. Epstein committed suicide during the Trump administration.
Yeah, so
Do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. So this whole story just gets blown up. And Old Man River goes, so? I don't care. How does that change anything? R.I.P. Bill O'Reilly's brain. You used to be better than this. If you ever want to watch something awesome, go watch Bill O'Reilly debate Jon Stewart on Fox News. It's unbelievable. And then Trump decided to go on this insane. He's had a tough morning. Just goes on an insane rant on True Social. What's going on with my boys? And in some cases, gals. They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's doing a fantastic job. We're on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration, the talk of the world, and the selfish people are trying to hurt it all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration who conned the world with their Russia hoax, 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, and more? They created the Epstein files just like they created the fake Hillary Clinton, Christopher Steele dossier that they used on me, and now my so-called friends are playing right into their hands. Why didn't these radical left lunatics release the Epstein files? They did, you silly bitch. If there was anything in there that could have hurt the MAGA movement, why didn't they use it? They haven't even given up. So then why, if there's nothing in it, just fucking release it, Don. If there's nothing in it that's going to hurt you, fucking release it, Don. Why are you pointing at the Democrats, Don? There's nothing in there about me or they would have released it. Okay, then release it. No, I don't want to. If they haven't even given up on the John F. Kennedy or Martin Luther King, they haven't even given up on the JFK or Martin Luther King Jr. files. I don't know what that means. I have no idea what that means. No matter how much success we have had securing the border, deporting criminals, fixing the economy. Let's see that. Securing the border, sure. Deporting criminals, mostly non-criminals. Fixing the economy, no. Energy dominance, we're getting our dicks kicked in by China. Safer world, no. Where Iran will not have nuclear weapons, that already existed. It's never enough for some people. It's never enough for you, MAGA morons. How dare you ask me to keep a campaign promise? We're about to achieve more in 6 months than any other administration has achieved in over 100 years, guys. They've done more in 6 months than the United States in 100 years. And we have so much more to do. We're saving our country and making America great again, which will continue to be our priority. The left is imploding. Kash Patel and the FBI must be focused on investigating voter fraud, political corruption, Act Blue, the rigged and stolen election in 2020, and arresting thugs and criminals instead of spending month after month looking at nothing but the same old radical left-inspired documents on Jeffrey Epstein. Let Pam Bondi do her job. She's great. The 2020 election was rigged and stolen, and they try to do the same thing. Anyways, he's a fucking psycho. Bro, nobody's buying this shit. Why are you hiding it, Don? Do we have punk chick here? Still no, Jen? 2020 election was rigged and stolen, and they tried to do it.
She's.
I saw her in the comments.
Well, she's trying to figure out why we can't just give her a phone number. So, she's in the server. She just needs to go to the VC. So I'm working on it.
Why don't you just create a phone line just for me? A lot of demands, chick punk. A lot of demands.
5 minutes. She needs 5 minutes and she'll be here, she says.
I'll start the timer. All right, so there's Trump screaming, and it worked on some people. Tim Pool did. Charlie Kirk fell in line. But I do want to know who paid Benny Johnson to turn on Trump. Here's Benny Johnson, known paid Russian propagandist Benny Johnson.
Ghislaine Maxwell holds the key to so much of this. Ghislaine Maxwell is alive. She's currently in prison. She's serving a 20-year sentence for trafficking children to nobody, remember? Her sentence, of course, is sort of a proxy. What they were going to do to Epstein, they're now doing to Maxwell. Here's what I found out yesterday. There is no further information at the FBI. The FBI doesn't really house trial evidence. The FBI doesn't prosecute people. The FBI refers for prosecution, but the Department of Justice are the prosecutors. They make the final decisions. The vast majority of the Epstein evidence currently resides inside of a place called the Southern District of New York. I was told yesterday on a phone call by a federal official, what do you want us to release? You know, there's bad...
I'm also very confused by this part, that the vast majority lies within the Southern District of New York. No, the attorneys have it. It's in a lockbox in the Southern District. We have the FBI has the files. It's a federal case. Like, I don't know why they keep, like, the Southern District of New York is like this boogeyman for Republicans, but like, what the fuck are they talking about here? That's not the only place that there's evidence. This stuff is stored digitally. You don't have to go in there and break the door down. You just got like someone holding on to it in a safe. I'm never giving you the Epstein files. Just go, you get them. And didn't they deliver this? Pam Bondi said, oh, the Southern District of New York is sending them over in a truck. They have thousands of boxes. And then she's like, they're on their way. And then she's like, we got them. And then didn't release them. And then she's like, never mind. They still have them. I'm lying again. I was lying earlier when I said that they sent them over. It's crazy. Is this who Andrew's speaking cadence comes from? Yeah.
Images. You know,
it is. Andrew's speaking cadence it's like it's all Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson's the person that Andrew and Benny Johnson they try and copy that cadence. I could do Andrew pretty good. I'll work on it, but I was working on the Andrew stuff earlier.
There's bad and nasty stuff there. I don't need that. Nobody needs any abuse material on the internet. That's not what we're asking for. The bloody and insulting idea that we're all like out here calling for the release of child abuse material is probably the most insulting thing about all of this, actually.
That's what Tim Pool said. Even Benny's insulted by Tim Pool, too. Benny's insulted by that.
That's what we're like ravenous for? Shut up! Makes me so angry because it's like attacking the base. No, what we're saying is that our own FBI has this photo. We've played it. We've shown it a million times. There's a bin of hard drives with yellow evidence tape wrapped around them put there by Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, sure, there's probably some very naughty and very nasty photos on here. Jeffrey Epstein was a horrible person. But that's not all that's on there. How many terabytes?
Amy said, I second a phone line. We'll work on it. Jeremy said, can we just agree he won the 2020 election and retroactively add that to the years served so we can be done with him? That's a good idea.
It's of information.
Free chick punk, says Gerrymandering.
On all those hard drives. You're telling me that that's all that's on there? I don't believe you. I don't. And that only Epstein appears in all of the nasty images. What happened was an insult to all of us. Has to be fixed immediately. There needs to be press conferences on this, about how this process works, where this evidence is, why it's locked up, what it's being used for, and a promise that after Ghislaine Maxwell exhausts her last appeal, that it will all be released. All of it. And there's one final fix. No statute of limitations on rape. No statute of limitations on child abuse. Has Bill Clinton ever been...
Yeah. That would have been a real motherfucker for Trump, though, wouldn't it? If there was no statute of limitations.
And brought in for questioning on this? You know what a Trump administration could do to actually truly rectify all of this? Is to say, you know what? Only all was their client list, but one of them was a president. And so it's...
Two of them. Two of them. We don't know if there's a client list. You're saying that Clinton's on the client list because he was on the plane, but so was Trump, and Trump was on the plane a lot, too. So... if we're deducing this down, that there is a client list because Clinton was on the plane, so was Trump. So then we'll bring them both in, which is fine. I'm not going to be shocked if Bill Clinton's on that list. Is she here?
Yeah.
All right, let me finish this video and then I'll hop right over. I'm with you there. I don't think there is a list. I think that it's. I don't even know if he was a trafficker to other people. I have no idea. I don't even know if we have evidence that he trafficked to other people. But I do believe that probably on those hard drives, we may see things like blackmail. Because think about it this way: like on let's just say it's at the island, and you have, let's use Ted Cruz, and Ted Cruz is with a woman but that woman's not underage. But every bathroom, every room was wired for both sound and video. Imagine you have Ted Cruz there with another woman. That's blackmail because Ted Cruz doesn't want that out. That's what I think is most likely on those files.
Bring in Bill Clinton for some serious questioning about this. Bill Clinton had Jeffrey Epstein visit the White House dozens of times. Dozens. All right? Look at Ghislaine Maxwell here in this photo. Look at her glaring at, but look, they know. They know. One of Jeffrey Epstein's victims says, he says Clinton liked him young, referring to little girls. These are in the documents. This is not up for debate. We have the evidence. Here's a way that you restore the faith in the American people. You explain what this painting is. Explain to the American, go bring Bill Clinton in and ask him, what's that exactly? Why?
I do want to know about that. I do want to know what that's about. I hope somebody explains that. Maybe the artist can explain it to us.
Why are you wearing Monica Lewinsky's famous blue dress with DNA evidence on it in this chair? Has anybody credibly ever asked, like in a real interview setting, about this? Like when you're in a chair and you can't.
Fred, I hear you say there's a list and Trump's on it a lot. If you're talking about the flight logs, yeah, but I just don't know if there's like this list of people that he trafficked people to. All right, let me hop over here. Let's see. Hey, can you hear me? Punk. Sorry, I forgot what do you want me to call you? I can't remember what your username was. Punk rock chick, I think. Is that what it was? Are you there? Hello?
Yeah.
There we go. Hello?
You whatever you want. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So what did you want to talk about? I got 2 minutes on the clock for you.
I thought you was gonna go first.
I don't know what we're talking about.
That's a good point. I don't know either.
What are you doing here? You may want to switch your headphones or something. I can't hear anything you're saying. About as
I thought you had something you wanted to bait. You know, like I thought you had a point you wanted to make.
I didn't invite you. You asked to come up. I don't know what you think. I don't know what you believe. I don't know anything about you. And your mic sucks too. I can't hear anything you're saying. This is crazy.
Yeah, my mic might suck, but your fucking internet sucks. It's like a 20-minute delay.
No, it's because what you need to do is you need to turn off the stream. Don't watch this on the stream. Just listen on your phone. Just pretend there's no stream. You're trying to wait for what I say on the stream. There's like a 10-second delay from what's live and what goes on the stream.
All right. Well, I told you guys I'm not into Discord. That shit. I don't know how that shit works.
Okay, but
I'm not a Discord person.
You're doing it. You're doing great.
I turned off the stream though.
Okay, there you go. You're doing great.
That was fucking me up with that delay.
Cool. All right. Is there something specific I said today that you disagree with, or?
Well, you know, you made that little joke about gerrymandering. Yeah. Okay. It's a typo, but you neglected the actual point of the question.
Well, I don't remember what the question was. What was the question?
You cry about gerrymandering, but you also at the same time support illegal immigrants voting in American elections. How do you see that your gerrymandering is worse than illegal immigrants voting? What is your take on that?
I don't support illegal immigrants voting in our elections.
Okay, I appreciate that. I didn't know that aspect. I thought you did support that.
Would you be surprised? Would you be surprised to know that almost nobody supports that? That there's not a single Democrat who actually advocates for that? Would that surprise you?
There's Democratic politicians who have fought for that. What are you talking about?
Who?
California senators and Democrats in New York.
Who?
In New Jersey. I live in New Jersey, and Phil Murphy allows illegal immigrants to vote in state elections. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but we're talking about national elections, right?
No, I was talking about elections. I didn't say national and I didn't say state.
Oh,
I said
okay.
election.
Yeah, so I think
I did not specify.
Yeah, so I actually am okay with in local elections. If people want to vote in local elections, you can make those determinations on a local level. That's democratically decided. If your city or your county wants to allow people that are here illegally to vote in local elections, I'm fine with that. I think states have rights to do that.
So you agree that if a governor says an illegal immigrant has a right to vote, you agree with that?
Do I agree that they're allowed to do that?
No, I'm saying, do you agree with the politician who says the illegal immigrant has the right to vote?
Well, they would be arguing that they are giving them the right to vote, right? Not that they have it, but that they're going to give them that right. Correct?
Oh, okay. Do you agree Democrats giving the right to vote to illegal immigrants who are not American citizens?
I think it would.
Do you agree with that?
I think it would have to depend on why they're doing it. Like, for example, if I go, I live in Arizona, so if I went to some of these cities down south near the border, you're going to find that a maybe not a majority, but like a close to majority of the people there are there illegally. And so I do think that if they're there and they're working and there's some sort of qualification that you have to have in order to vote, I would put a qualification on it. But yeah, I wouldn't mind if they voted for what's happening in their city. Doesn't bother me.
I'm pretty sure though the qualification is you have to be an American citizen.
No, I think
the fact that you're an illegal means you are exempt from voting. And can you yourself go vote in an election in China? No, you can't.
Correct.
No, you can't. Exactly. You cannot go vote in a Chinese election.
Okay.
So Mexicans that are here illegally, Africans, Europeans, Chinese, if they're here illegally, they do not have the right to vote in our election.
But if China changed the rule that said I could vote, then could I vote?
Did China change the rule? I don't know what you're referring to. Are you referring to something, or is this a hypothetical?
No, I'm trying to show you that in states, states have rights.
A hypothetical.
And states can determine who votes in local elections, right? And so states have the rights to do that.
Rights. Yeah, for sure. States have state rights, but then there's federal rights.
Yes,
which states can say, hold on. States can say, yes, we allow abortions for 6 months. We allow 9-month abortions, or we allow heartbeat abortions. Yeah, that's states. But then federal comes in and says, well, you can't kill your 2-year-old.
So
exactly.
So in 1996, we passed the Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act, and that prohibits non-citizens, which includes all illegal immigrants, from voting in federal elections. But the federal government was not able. They cannot write they can't make laws that take away the rights of states. So states, because the state only responds to themselves, and it's not federal elections, so it's not affecting people outside of the state. The state has the right to determine who can and cannot vote in their elections. That's just states' rights. You might not like it.
I mean,
but
I get that.
Allowed.
That's fair. I get that. That's fair. That's a good point. Should it be allowed? I don't think so, because at the end of the day, illegal immigrants, you're not really putting that money into Social Security. Your taxes, most immigrants are being paid under the table. They're sending that money back home. That shit is not going into Social Security like you said it is.
Well, illegal immigrants pay about $40 billion a year into Social Security, and they do that by using a stolen a stolen Social Security number. So they'll work under somebody.
So is
hold
it
on.
okay?
Remember, we were not interrupting each other. Go
ahead.
So,
I'm sorry.
So if you use a Social Security number that is stolen, that money, you will have to pay Social Security, but you'll never be able to collect it because you'll never be able to identify yourself as that person. So they actually do pay into Social Security.
Process?
Yes.
So that's a fucked up process, right?
Yeah.
That it shouldn't be that way where you can put money in and not get that money back out.
Nope.
That's fucked up.
Yep.
I agree, and you can agree with that.
Yep.
But I mean, there needs to be some type of reform to fix that situation.
I
And
agree.
just letting everybody in is not how that works.
Nobody has ever
letting
done. No, but
everybody in.
that has literally never happened ever.
Did Joe Biden not tell everybody to come here with Kamala?
No.
He didn't. It's on video. What are you talking about? He's
Are-
on the news saying, we want all of you guys to come here.
That doesn't mean illegally.
In 2020, he did that.
That doesn't mean
2019, he did that.
He didn't say come here illegally.
Him and Kamala 100% did. I can
Kamala,
fucking.
First of all, if you're going to be good faith, and it's just a pet peeve. Like I'm
just saying,
hold on,
him and
excuse me,
Kamala.
excuse me.
That's the
You're cutting
administration.
for somebody who wanted
Continue. I'm sorry.
For somebody who
I'm
wanted
sorry,
to have
continue.
strict rules about interrupting. You're not very
Well,
strict.
you did cut me off.
So,
you did cut me off. I was trying to say something. You cut me off while I was trying to say that Joe Biden and Kamala told people to come here illegally.
But they didn't.
Before I could finish my sentence, you tried to cut me off, and now you're saying I cut you off.
Okay,
That's not true. You cut me off, sir.
So two things. One, Joe Biden wasn't president.
Continue.
Joe Biden wasn't president in 2020, and two, he never told anybody.
Oh, well, he was president in 2021.
Jesus
he was
Christ.
president-elect.
I know, but that quote was in 2020 that you cited apparently. But he
But was
never.
my quote correct?
Jesus Christ, man. No, he never told anybody to come here illegally.
You can literally see it on CNN, him live saying that.
So-
What are you talking about?
You think he on CNN he said come here illegally?
He said, we'll take all of you.
Who?
What are you talking about?
Who is he talking to?
Every illegal immigrant trying to cross the border. What are you talking about? They said that. They had rallies for it.
So
what are you trying
March,
to deny? Hold on. You asked me a question.
Yes, I am denying it. Yes, I am.
You're trying to deny that Joe Biden, Kamala, and the Democrats like Pelosi and AOC said everyone should come here, open borders, and you don't need to go through the process to become a legal citizen. Just the fact that your foot is on American soil, now you get all of our rights.
Yeah, nobody said that. That's a bullshit thing you made up. Let me read the exact quote. He said in March 16th of 2021, Biden was asked if he needed to tell immigrants clearly to not come. He said, yes, I can say quite clearly, don't come over. Don't leave your town or city or community.
Go back 6 months prior, where they did say all of that, because I know what you're talking about.
6 months
For
prior,
6 months,
he wouldn't have been president, right, though?
No, he wasn't president. It was why he was the nominee with Kamala, and they were telling people to come over here. You're trying
illegally? He told them to come here illegally?
Yes, they did.
Do you have the quote?
It's all.
Do you have the quote? I'm looking.
No, I don't. You want me to Google it real quick? I can Google it, but that's going to take away from us talking.
That's okay.
The fact that
I'm Googling it and I don't find any quote where
You-
Joe Biden
dude,
said
you have a whole team. You have a whole
I don't
team of
I don't I don't have a whole team. Believe it or not, I do.
How many people are behind your camera?
Me, it's just me.
There's no one behind your camera. I seen you talk to people behind your camera, so that's a lie. It's not just you.
Brother, I don't know what you're this camera is in my room, in my bedroom.
Have you not talked to people behind the camera?
No, unless it was like my kid coming in.
People don't run your Discord. People don't do
Jen,
this. You have people behind the scenes.
You talked to Jen already.
Yes, you have people. Okay,
She's
so
not
yes,
here.
you have
Jen
people.
Jen lives in a different state.
So Jen is behind the camera.
No.
No, Jen is in California. Jason.
Okay,
Ross.
so
right there.
Jen
do
is
you want to
not
try and find this
physically.
Yeah, Jen.
Hold on,
try
not
and find-
physically behind the camera.
I don't.
Not physically
Hey, be
behind the
quiet,
camera.
be quiet,
She
be
is
quiet,
behind
be
the
quiet.
camera.
Hey, shut the fuck up for a
No,
second.
no, don't. You don't need to be rude,
I-
dude.
you
You don't need to be fucking
you
rude.
won't shut the fuck up. This is not important. You're telling me a quote exists that I'm Googling right now, and I can't find that quote. And then when I ask you to find it, you're like, tell your team. And I don't have a team to find it. If we want Jen to go look for it, Jen can go look for it. But I'm not really interested on debating whether or not I have a team.
Okay,
Everybody
yeah,
that knows
yeah,
me
that
knows
wasn't
how
my
this
point.
works.
That
But
wasn't.
but
You're
I can't
right.
find
You're
this-
right.
I
That
can't-
wasn't my point.
But I can't find this quote where Joe Biden said to bring tells illegal immigrants to come to America.
Really?
Really?
We can't find something that doesn't exist.
All right, then give me 2 seconds and I'll fucking find it.
Sure. Thank you.
All right. While I look for it, do you want to bring up any other topics? Maybe like you don't care about citizens who get fucked up by illegal immigrants.
No, I care about them too.
So do you think we should have open borders?
No.
Okay, I can agree with that.
But nobody
you think we should
does.
have a
No, but nobody does. This is just a lie that you have been told.
I've heard
people,
a lot of Democrats
name one.
say nobody
Name
is.
one.
Hold on a second. I've heard a lot of Democrats, Kamala, fucking Joe Biden, Hillary, fucking Nancy Pelosi, all of them saying no one is illegal on stolen ground. So therefore, that means
I don't think any
borders are not.
I don't think any of those people have said
I've
that.
also heard people say borders in Palestine should not exist. So do you think Palestine doesn't have the right to defend themselves? You think Palestine should have a border and be able to say, "Hey, we don't want you to come in our country"?
First of all, I got bad news for you, bud. They don't really have a border. Israel gets to invade whenever the fuck they want. But two, the quote that you just said about being on stolen land, I think you would be hard pressed. I know that there's people that have said that, but those are people that are pretty far left. I don't think you would find a quote.
You mean like
Joe
Biden
or Nancy Pelosi?
Joe Biden said it.
Joe Biden.
Joe
Joe
Biden
Biden has never said that. That's way too woke for Joe Biden.
That's way too woke for Joe Biden. Joe Biden thinks men can give birth to babies.
No, nobody thinks that. Brother, this is the thing.
Half of your chat think men can give birth.
No, they just think that people they think
Bro,
shut up. They think people can identify how they want. That's it. I don't know.
I've talked
that's
to
what
your
we believe.
chat.
No,
your chat has literally said
listen,
men can give
listen,
birth.
Listen.
Go ahead.
We believe that people can identify how they want. So if you see somebody,
I agree.
Okay, so
I agree.
So by that definition, if somebody has a uterus and gets pregnant and gives birth and they identify as a man, then yes, in that case, we would say that the person who identifies as a man gave birth. But what we don't think in the way that you got, the problem that I have with you, if we're being honest, is everything you say is this warped, twisted view of what we believe. We don't believe in open borders. We don't believe that everybody should just be able to come here. We don't believe that you can magically change change your sex. Everything you believe is like this warped, twisted talking point, and you don't seem to know what we actually believe.
Okay, then can I ask a couple questions to actually figure out what you believe then? Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. So you don't believe men can have babies. Is that what you said?
No, I think that identity and sex are different things, right? So gender and sex are different.
Okay.
You can so if you have a uterus.
Hold on.
So let's
hold on. Okay. Can you explain to me how male and man is different?
Male is referring to sex, man is referring to gender.
How?
It's gendered speech. Like it's the way that we speak.
What makes the two different? What makes man different than male? What makes that different?
So like for example, when I was born, it's listed as male, right?
Yes, because you were born with a penis.
But nobody called me.
Because you were born with a penis.
I hear you.
That's men.
Chill. I'm trying to explain it to you. So,
continue. I'm sorry. I'm gonna slow down.
But nobody called me a man until many years later.
No, yeah, you were called a boy until you were 18.
Right.
So what is your difference? What's the point?
Because one of them is
boy and men.
Because one of them
boy
is
and men.
Because one of them
Pre-proof.
Jesus Christ, brother, if you're going to learn something, you have to shut the fuck up and hear it. Stop asking questions and talking over me. If you're actually here to learn what we believe,
continue,
go
sir.
for it. Thank you.
Continue,
so
sir.
Male is referring to the sex organs that the doctor saw when I was born. And man refers to a specific stage of development and how I identify. Now, if
adult male, right? Man is an adult male.
Sure, but yeah, if you want to use like the dictionary definition, sure.
No, that's not the dictionary definition. That's
it?
the scientific definition.
Gender is
a man is an adult male.
You're literally
a boy is a juvenile male.
Brother, you are literally
that is the scientific definition.
Where are you getting those?
Prove me that that's.
Shut up.
from biology,
Jesus
dude.
Christ, dude. No.
All right, you explain to me how that's not true.
I will if you'll shut the fuck up, man. Jesus, you're
I'm done.
hysterical.
Go ahead, explain it.
It's also weird that you identify as a woman with your screen name, and then you don't identify as a woman now. Do you want to explain that?
Oh, are you fucking assuming my gender?
Yeah, you said yeah. I am.
I never said what my gender was. You're assuming.
Do you identify? Oh, I apologize. Do you identify as a woman?
Do
you identify
I don't
as a
have
woman?
to tell you what I identify as. It's none of your fucking business.
You don't have to,
Look,
but for the sake
the
of this
debate.
for the
Hey,
sake
hey,
of
hey,
it, shut the fuck
Shut up!
up!
Shut
you
up!
Silly
Shut
goose.
up, dude!
I'm asking
Shut
you a
up,
question
dude!
and you're losing it. Shut
Yes,
up.
and the answer. Here's the answer. You don't want to hear the answer.
No, I'm asking.
Do you want to hear the answer?
I haven't finished the
Do
question.
you want to hear
yet.
the answer?
I haven't finished the
Do
question.
you want to hear the answer?
Go ahead.
Okay, finish your question. You gonna finish the question?
I was trying.
No, you muted me.
You're not muted, you silly little goose. I'm laughing at you right now.
And
I'm laughing. That's
when
why I
I
wasn't
said
talking.
finish your question, why were you quiet?
Because I was laughing.
I didn't hear you laugh, sir.
Yeah, I moved the mic and moved my head away. You could if you can't see it, but that's what happens.
Okay,
So,
that's fair.
Thank
That's
you.
fair. Yeah,
Listen,
well, I'm not watching the live anymore.
Let me ask you: do you identify as a man?
Does that pertain at all to the debate we're having?
Yes, it does, and I'll link it back. Don't worry about it. It's not a gotcha. I'm just wondering:
Can
do
you
you identify as a?
to me?
I just want to know. I'll explain it. I'll explain it. Just answer the questions honestly, and I'll fucking explain it. These aren't gotchas. You asked me to explain something to you.
Here we
Stop
go.
arguing.
Look, here we go. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I'm on my girlfriend's YouTube. So now, what's your point?
So I'm saying, so you identify as a man.
What's your point? I'm on my girlfriend's YouTube.
And the people that interacted with you.
What is your point?
The people that interacted with you, almost
what people?
Everybody in the chat and me. Everybody that
in
interacted
the
with
chat.
you.
Okay.
We used the pronoun. We used like she, her pronouns when we talked about you, right?
And that's crazy because you guys were fucking wrong.
Stay with me. That's the point.
Okay, I'm gonna stay with you.
I
got you.
That's the point.
Right. Hold on one second. Can I ask your name?
The point.
Can I ask your name so I can say
it's Jay.
I appreciate Jay.
Yeah.
Is it Jason? James?
It's just Jay.
Understandable. You can call me S.
All right. No, but my name is Jay.
All
That's my full name. It's like my full name. Jay. That's how you spell
Really?
my yeah.
Oh shit, that's cool. I've had a few friends. Their nickname was Jay. None of them were actually Jay. It was Jason, James. That's cool. Okay,
Gotcha. So the reason I brought that up, the reason that I brought that up is that like you are allowed to identify how you want, and I don't care. Like even coming up now, if you said I identify as a woman, it would not affect me in the least at all.
True.
I don't care how anybody identifies. The reason I want to know pronouns and the reason that we care about pronouns is it's a sign of respect. Right. And you can probably admit that there's been times in your life where somebody's gender was ambiguous and you weren't 100% sure. And so what do you usually do when you're not sure? You try and avoid gendered pronouns. So you might say something like they or them. Right. And so
no, I get you. Can I give you one life experience?
No.
So I grew. Hold on. When I was young.
Wait.
All right.
So
continue.
That's the difference between sex and gender.
So sex and gender is you look like a man compared to you are a man. Is that what I'm understanding?
Sex was your gender.
Is that what you just said?
No, sex is your genitals, and then gender is your identity. And sometimes people's genitals and their identity don't match up.
Okay, well, what about people who are schizophrenic and think that they hear radio in their head? Just because they think they hear the radio in their head, should you tell them that that's real and and oh, that's your reality. It's okay.
No, what we do in that scenario is that we acknowledge the fact that they are hearing things in their head and that it is a real condition. And we recognize. Wait, hold on, please.
Continue.
For the love of God.
Sorry.
In that
Continue.
situation, we recognize that it is happening to them and we're not experiencing it. And so we don't invalidate what they're feeling, but we might also say like, oh, yeah, but for me, it's different. I'm not hearing what you're hearing. I validate that you're hearing it. I'm not hearing it. I live in a different reality than you do because you have schizophrenia.
So you think it's more important to help someone in their schizophrenia and tell them that's okay instead of letting them know, like, hold on a second, you might need a little bit of meds because what you're saying
you can do both.
is kind of crazy.
No, you do both. Like I have ADHD. I have ADHD, and I could just give you like my lifetime experience. I grew up in. Be quiet. I grew up in a religious.
Can I?
No, be quiet.
What year were you born? What year? I just want to know what year were you born?
I'm not going to dox.
What year?
I'm not people. Listen, brother. My name is
okay.
publicly
Never mind.
available.
You're right. You're right. I don't want to dox your birthday. You're right. I don't want to do that.
Okay, let me finish. I was born in a religious cult. I grew up in a religious cult, and there wasn't like it's not like we didn't believe in science, but like Jesus was first, science was secondary. So I had severe ADHD all growing up. But it was viewed by people at that time as something that was like a disability. And my parents and the people around me were like, oh, he's not disabled because I was smart. I could figure things out. I tested really well.
Yeah.
And so they didn't.
Yeah, I went through the same shit.
Quiet, please. And so
I'm just agreeing with you, dude. Relax.
And all I want you
I'm just agreeing with you. There's no need for you to get mad. I said yes.
I just want you to be quiet.
All I did was agree with you. You don't need to get mad. I said yes. That's true.
Brother, listen. I want you to shut up until I'm done. Deal? You demanded 2 minutes of time without interrupting, so be quiet. So I grew up
you interrupted me in 2 seconds, bro.
I understand.
Continue
and I'm
your
just asking
statement.
you to let me finish the story. Just shut up. So I go undiagnosed my entire life. I had like my grades were shit, and my grades weren't shit because like I couldn't test. I got a 32 on my ACT, and I had like a 2.3 GPA. Because I would forget, I would do homework and I would forget it. And the way that I was parented was like, oh, just be like everybody else. And it wasn't a condition that was recognized at the time as something that is real. Like ADHD is a real condition, and you have to.
No, I believe ADHD. Yeah, that's real.
Be quiet.
I'm just agreeing with you, man. You don't need to yell at me.
I asked you not to do that anymore. Please stop. Please be respectful. Thank you. And so all of this time it went undiagnosed, and if it was diagnosed, it could have been treated, and if it was more socially acceptable, I likely would have been diagnosed. So yes, accepting that somebody has a condition, not labeling that condition as icky or weird or a disability or a negative, goes a long way in being able to treat that condition effectively. So people who, and it changes name, but let's just say we call it gender dysphoria. The most important thing is to recognize to those people, yes, I understand that this is a real thing that you're really experiencing, and we need to figure out a way to make sure that this very real thing that you're experiencing, that you can deal with it and that we can deal with it as a society in the most productive way. And what we've learned is that when it comes to trans people, the most effective thing that you can do is to welcome their pronoun. Just say like, I hear you, even though I don't understand it. I understand that it is real to you, and I accept you for that, and I accept your pronoun. If you want to use different pronouns, I accept it. And we've seen that just accepting that and treating, that's called gender affirming care. That alone is the most useful remedy for people who are suffering from gender dysphoria. That makes them more welcome in society, and it makes them more likely to accept treatment and be open to treatment that will help them. So by telling people, fuck you, you can't be something else, it actually is just dismissing what's really happening inside of them and telling them, because it doesn't happen to me, it doesn't happen to you, and you can't even be part of society if that happens to you.
Okay. Now, can I speak?
Yes.
Okay, so just because it doesn't happen to me does not mean I don't understand it. Okay? Just to start off, because that's how you ended your statement. Next,
I wasn't talking to you specifically. By the way, I was talking
no,
about society.
not me. I did not mean specifically. I meant generally. That's what I meant by saying that statement. But with that passed, on to the next topic of it does better to recognize them as the gender they want to be compared to the gender they are.
Mm-hmm.
Suicide rates did not decrease whether you get gender affirming care, whether people call you a female and you're a male, or whether you cut your dick or your tits off.
They went down.
Sorry,
Gender affirming. Gender affirming.
Sorry.
Gender affirming care.
I'm sorry if I went a little extra and said words that weren't supposed to be on your show.
Gender affirming care reduces self unaliving by 70%. The rates.
No, the evidence does not support that. No, you just cut me off. It's my time. It's my time. You cut me off. I let you speak. It's my time.
It's not your time.
It's my time.
It's my channel.
Gender affirming care, suicide rate does not go higher or lower.
Lower.
Where's the stat?
Right.
Where did you get the stat from? What government organization?
Well, why would you trust a government organization here?
Okay, what government? What you trust? Fucking some bipartisan transgender? What scientist? Who?
The people who study
from
this.
Where?
So this is from the National
the World Health Organization that said COVID was the fucking end of be all.
Shut the fuck up when you ask a question.
Oh, I didn't even get to finish, and you've been cutting me off.
You just asked me for the source, and now you're smearing all the potential sources. So you can. There are.
Okay. I'll stop.
Thank you.
Show me the source.
So this is from NIH here. Let me. Who did the original study? Let me go. Let me just get to the part that.
No, go ahead. Take your time.
Let me Command F it real quick because it's kind of long. All right. Oops. All right. So their study found that the unaliving rate before gender affirming surgery was 29%. This is just surgery, so this isn't care. This isn't actually the number I was looking for, but this number, the unaliving rate dropped 5%. Hold on. No, let me finish.
I don't understand. Hold on. I don't understand the stat. Hold on.
Shut up.
Are you? Hold on. I gotta clarify. Are you not gonna let me clarify?
It's the middle of a sentence. You dumb ass. Shut the fuck up. Let me finish the sentence. Then you can ask the fucking question. Thank you. It went down 5% for surgeries. Now ask your question. Jesus.
It went down how much percent?
For surgeries, 5%. Now I need to pull the one for gender affirming care.
It went down. It went 5% down. Suicide rates. It went down 5%.
Yes, but with gender affirming care, which is
now.
Oh my God! Shut up. Before
continue for gender affirming care. What?
It went down 12-fold.
12-fold. What's the percentage numbers? Can you tell me that?
12-fold is a 1,200% reduction.
Okay, what's the original number and what's the number after? Can you tell me that? Or can you just say 12-fold?
Yeah, I don't know if you saw mine.
Did you send it?
The one from the American Medical Association went down by 44% with the after gender affirming care from the Journal of American Medical Association. Went down 44%.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that one.
So would you like to restate?
That gave me.
So would you like to? So we understand then that this actually does. So it does lower the rate. You said it stays the same, but it actually lowers the rate, right?
For the people that don't commit suicide, you know what? Just off, I'll give you that one.
Okay.
I'll give you that.
So
it changes.
So knowing that it drops at 44%,
should hold on? I gotta ask one question.
Hold on.
Gotta ask one question.
I will mute you if you don't stop for a second.
Well, if you mute me, that proves your fascism. Because
shut the fuck up. She's here to make an announcement. Shut the fuck up, dude.
I muted you.
Shut up.
I will unmute you.
Jesus Christ.
We need you to use a different. We are on TikTok. We can't use the S word. You can use something else, but use a different term so you don't get us in trouble. Thank you. I will unmute you now.
You guys are double teaming me, and that's not fair.
She was telling you
I'm here by myself, and you got backup.
I'll kick you now.
No, you shut up.
She's telling you the rules of TikTok so you don't get my live stream taken down. She's just asking you to use different words. You are a hysterical kind of. You're hysterical.
What did she say? Because I heard you yelling over her.
I wasn't yelling.
I couldn't hear her and you.
No,
so
I wasn't yelling over her. She said.
I heard both of y'all talking at the same time.
She said.
She said. Go ahead.
Don't use the S word when talking about unaliving. Use appropriate language for TikTok because it gets us taken
I'm
down.
sorry. Yeah. No, that's my fault. That's my fault.
All
I
right.
apologize.
Would you like to also apologize?
That's my fault.
I'd like you to also apologize.
I know that.
I'd also like you to apologize for Jen for having an absolute tizzy fit when she broke in to tell you the rules. Would you like to apologize to Jen, please, Sue?
I would like to now, but I'm sorry.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Now continue.
Like I didn't realize that's what she was trying to tell me. I thought she was just cutting me off.
I know, because you're hysterical, and I'm trying to have a good faith discussion with you. And
Jen.
oh my
Jen
God.
was
Oh my God. Every time.
Look at you. Oh my God.
You're doing
Oh my God.
All right. I'm just gonna bounce. Like this is so stupid, man. This is the problem that we have.
Yeah, I know.
We're
not having a good debate. Do you think Mike Tyson should be able to box your fucking 19-year-old daughter? Yeah, I thought so, you fucking faggot.
Let it all out. No, you drop all the slurs you need to drop. Go ahead.
I kicked him. He's not coming back. We don't need him taking down the TikTok life. So.
Ban his girlfriend's account too.
100%. He's gone. He, she, whoever is
It
gone.
always turns into that. It always turns into the slurs every single time.
And I'm gonna block their Discord because I just don't need to hear them back at my DMs too. So,
I think that 2 minutes would have worked. I think the 2 minute off and on that really would have worked.
Fucking holy shit!
I think you definitely would have kept that together. All right. Do you have an? Probably need to. You want to make some announcements?
I haven't been able to update a total because I'll get one in just a second.
Do you want to do some announcements real quick? I'll go through them.
Yeah, so that was fun. Thanks everybody for hanging out. And I know a lot of people say, kick people out, and we agree. We try to have conversations with people. And I know people can be triggering and annoying. Oh, so chat, if you guys see Chick Punk back in mods, just hide them from the stream if you see them before me. Anyways, we want to have conversations with people. We want to have good faith conversations. And Jay will match energy. He'll be respectful. So if you guys want to come up and talk to him, how you can do that is the Venmo username is my Discord. You can come on and have a conversation. Other than that, we've got about, I think, 20 minutes or so left of the show. I'm getting an updated gift goal number to see where we're at, but we need to hit that each day to be able to keep the lights on so that we can keep doing this. I mean, if emotional labor, paid, we'd be rich, but unfortunately it doesn't. So Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats all go towards helping us knock that down. So if you guys could help us finish that, we would greatly appreciate it. Please subscribe if you haven't already. We have a members only event later on. So if you are a subscriber on TikTok or Twitch, we have when Jay has a debate on Thursday night, we'll have a private chat, and same for YouTube. If you're a paid member on YouTube, we'll have that event, so you don't have to be in the incel chat. Check out our Linktree. We're on most social media platforms. Cameo. We have merch, and my mind's just like ping ponging 1,000 different ways.
Sorry, I'm reading. I'm reading the. I'm dying at the comments right now. Sorry, I'm not even paying attention.
Yeah, they're hilarious. It's a lot. And so check out other platforms. Like I said, the gift goal is my main point because goddamn. Why are bananas the most popular fruit?
Is that true? Are they the most popular fruit?
This is the joke.
All right. I don't know.
People just find them appealing.
I do. I was going to say they had a good appeal.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'll get the number in a second.
And just to be clear, if you come up here, anybody who comes up here in the future, like, you're going to get kicked if you use slurs. This isn't your incel party. This isn't Raging Tomato where you get to say slurs. That's just the rule. You should know that by now. And it's also something that these people do know. They always get, as soon as they get upset, they just slur. Once the conversation's done, they drop a slur and they leave. Nobody's even crying. And I also want to get Cayubilio. How does Andrew's dick taste? It's got to taste like cigarettes. That's the only option. Kristen said not sending their best, pitiful. Thank you, Trudy. Jacob said get to work on the goal, people. Papa Baggin said, chat, is there a kick pool? I'm losing brain cells by the second listening to this troglodyte. Amy Lynn said, I remember being shamed and made fun of for being left-handed. I got in trouble for it. And also, is this who Andrew's speaking cadence? Oh, I read that one. Andrew's speaking cadence. Tucker Carlson speaking cadence. Thanks, guys. Thanks for putting up with that. I do now, back to Epstein, Trump's best buddy for years and years and years. Now we have a bit of a civil war going on. Trump is out publicly defending Pam Bondi. Behind the scenes, this was at Charlie Kirk's event. You have Megyn Kelly saying, we better get rid of Pam Bondi.
Pam Bondi. She has never missed an opportunity to go on television and dangle sweet nothings that might be coming your way. Try to lead you to believe that she's got it. It's on her desk. It's coming tomorrow. You're going to see something on Epstein. And it was a tease. So you either believe that Pam Bondi was telling the truth then or that she's telling the truth now. But both cannot be true. She was either lying when she went on Fox News all those times saying, I've got it, we're looking at it, wait until you see it, it's horrible. Or she's lying in her 2-page memo that they released on a Sunday night at the tail end of a holiday weekend to Axios, as if Axios is where we all go for our news. Hell no. She went to someone she knew would not kick the tires on the story, and without signing the memo, dropped it in the dead of night and said, that's it. Take it. Take the...
It is interesting when you watch these people, like who gets the story is pretty telling. And you know when it's like very connected people, you're going to see like Washington Post or Axios or Slate, they'll get it. If it's coming from like a real right-wing source, it's going to go to the New York Post, or it's going to go to Daily Caller, it's going to go to Daily Wire. It is interesting that the story was broke by Axios. And I think that does give you a clue as to who leaked it. Pam Bondi is the only one that's really going to have close connections over there at Axios.
Crumbs and be happy. Refuse to come out and give a presser. Come out and give a press conference. Stand there for 6 hours to the point where people are dying of boredom. They've asked all their questions. That's how you put a scandal to rest. But she wouldn't even sign her name to it. And I'm telling you, I have dollars to donuts. It's going to come out that there was internal consternation over that memo, and whose name did and did not go on it, and who it was and was not behind it. And so now you have a situation where her words on the record on Fox News are diametrically opposed to what she put in this memo. She's embarrassed the president. She's embarrassed herself.
All right. I do think who said that? Somebody said, Donald Trump said they're making Pam Bondi the scapegoat to not hold Trump accountable. It's something along those lines. Megyn Kelly knows what it's like as a right winger in especially in media. It's really difficult to take a stand against Donald Trump. It's very easy to take a stand against Pam Bondi. She knows what it's like to be on the bad end of Donald Trump. So I probably agree with you there. I don't know if it's so much about like holding Trump accountable as it is they're worried about their career. She knows that if she goes out there and says Trump's on that list or that Trump is orchestrating this, that she's done for. Because most of MAGA isn't willing yet to say maybe Trump's in on this. Thank you, Behavior Bender, for the super chat there. Pam Bondi, however, she's told us that that missing minute, there's nothing there. Here she is. We showed this clip the other day from a different angle. But if you remember this, this is right after Trump said, like, why are we still talking about this Jeffrey Epstein thing? And here's Pam Bondi's answer.
And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the Evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that.
Have we ever confirmed that? Is my question. Has she ever shown that that minute is missing every night? And if that minute is missing every night, can we get that minute back? Oh, and by the way, they were the ones that told us that this 10 hours of footage was missing. Somehow the Trump administration told us the 10 hours of footage was missing, but now we have it. Somehow the Biden administration got it, and that's how we found out that we did have the 10 hours, and now they're releasing the 10 hours, and they're doing it with edits. Let's also remember who Pam Bondi is. Pam Bondi was also the Attorney General in Florida. And there was the prosecuting attorney was Acosta. And Acosta gave a really fucking bizarre sweetheart deal to Epstein. And there was also a non-prosecution agreement in there for some reason for collaborators, which would have been Maxwell. And Acosta worked in the first Trump administration right after all this happened. So you have the attorney who gave Acosta that gave Epstein the sweetheart deal. He's in the Trump administration. You have Epstein's attorney, Dershowitz, who also has been accused of abusing children as running interference for Trump for years. You have the Attorney General of Florida, Pam Bondi, now here running interference. I'm just saying, if it was reversed, there's no fucking chance any of you would be like, nah, this is all on the up and up. I actually think that there's a real scenario where Trump is in on the files and isn't directing this. I do think that there is a very real possibility that the direction is not coming from Trump, but is coming from other people. Perhaps the CIA, perhaps Israel, perhaps people that are more powerful than Trump, or maybe it's coming for Trump, or maybe it's all of them together. But I do think there's a real scenario where maybe somebody else is the one that's pulling the strings here. Either way, I don't know why we trust Pam Bondi here. She's one of the least credible people in this entire situation. I have no idea why we're looking at Pam Bondi like, oh, she'll tell us the truth.
Video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
So this is from Wired. It was published on Friday, July 11th, 2025. Here's the headline. Metadata shows the FBI's raw Jeffrey Epstein prison video was likely modified. There is no evidence the footage was deceptively manipulated, but ambiguities around how the video was processed may further fuel conspiracy theories about Epstein's death. And they had some experts look at it and could tell that it was 2 videos stuck together in Adobe Premiere Pro. It was saved more than once. There's more to it. I just want to give a shout out.
Now, I've looked at that. The saves all happened like in quick succession. I think there were 4 total saves. But why did it get edited? Why didn't they just release the raw footage? Why did they release, and they released the footage. They told us it was the raw footage. And then they checked the metadata, and it had been imported into Adobe and then exported and saved. Why'd they do that? We don't have an explanation for a lot of this stuff. We don't know if that 1 minute really is always missing. We don't know if we can recover that 1 minute. We don't know why there was 10 hours of video missing and somehow now suddenly we have the 10 hours of video. We don't know why the video was edited. Why should they expect us to be comfortable with any of this? It's one thing if you don't have answers, but they're giving us answers and then their answers are all lies. So what am I left with? What are we really left with to believe here if everything you tell us keeps turning out to be a lie?
Very quick to Wired. This publication has done.
They had it on tape and digitized it, but would that require Adobe Premiere? They loaded a file into Adobe Premiere. So they would have had to digitize it first and then take that file and then load it into Adobe Premiere. And look, if you were trying to compress it or if you were trying to put it in a different format, I could understand if that's why you put it into Adobe Premiere. But why aren't you telling us? Why are you telling us that this is not that this is the original footage? Why not, when you release it, say we had the original footage, we turned it into a file, then we wanted to change the format, so we put it into Adobe Premiere, we either compressed it or we changed the format, and then we released it. So when you go through the metadata, you're going to see that we put it into Adobe Premiere. Instead, they come out and they say, this is the raw footage. That's the problem I have. Like, why lie about all this stuff?
The best investigative journalism I can possibly think of on Elon Musk for months. Absolutely incredible reporting. I can say that because I'm 100% independent, and I don't.
Decoding Fox News. That's Decoding Fox News, by the way. I forgot to give them credit. All right, now here's what we've been told has happened, and I think that this is true. Donald Trump got on the phone. He got on the phone. Not only.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I updated the total.
Okay, thank you. I'll do it after this clip. Donald Trump got on the phone not only with members of Congress and Republicans, he also got on the phone allegedly with a bunch of right-wing voices, prominent voices, people like Charlie Kirk. And basically what he said is like, let's get in lockstep here. I don't know why we're focused on this. We've got bigger things to worry about. Let's stop talking about the Epstein files. And so here goes Mike Lawler out onto News Nation. All of a sudden, we don't give a fuck about the Epstein files. Samuel said, gender-affirming care is all about the money to the medical establishment, leading to expensive cosmetic surgery to produce lifelong patients. Yeah, that's not what gender-affirming care is. Like, most of gender-affirming care is treatment, is simply just like accepting somebody. Gender-affirming care does not mean that you are having gender reassignment surgery. Those are two different things, Daniel. But I appreciate that.
Again, President Trump said that the allegations in the Jeffrey Epstein files were at least partly fabrications from Democrats, which is why they should not be released. But there are a lot of people in his movement, like Steve Bannon, who say no dice. They want a special counsel. They want everything to come out. What should happen in this Jeffrey Epstein morass?
Listen, I'm probably not the person to ask because I don't speak in conspiracy theory, but at the end of the day, there's a lot bigger issues facing this country than Jeffrey Epstein. The guy is dead and buried. Let's move on.
Okay, and so we will.
But maybe there's not a bigger story, and I think this is the part where I wish we could get some transparency. Because if the Jeffrey Epstein story is that Donald Trump was friends with Jeffrey Epstein and they abused children, that's a very big story. I think you could make an argument that it's not the biggest story in our country. However, if the story is that the CIA is infiltrated and that the CIA is working with Israel and they are holding compromise over our politicians, and they are forcing politicians to do their bidding by using compromising material, then suddenly that's a big fucking story. And I think that's the part that most of us that we actually care about. Like, do I think that we're going to get justice for these children who are abused? Probably not. And there is there is no justice that makes up for that type of abuse. Do I think that Donald Trump is going to be linked to it? No, I don't. I don't think, charged with it. Excuse me. No, I don't. I think it's going to be very difficult to convince anybody this many years later that somebody for sure abused children. But I am very interested in the fact that our government is actively covering it up. That's the part that makes me the most nervous. Is why is our government, when it's this obvious, covering it up? Because you could point back at the Biden years and you'd be like, why didn't they release it? And that's a fair criticism. Why didn't the Biden administration release this? If it really was about Trump, why didn't they release it? And I think that's a fair criticism. And I think it's probably fair to say that it had maybe Trump isn't implicated. However, I think the reason the Biden administration didn't release it is probably the same reason the Trump administration isn't releasing it. Because it's going to show just how deeply infiltrated our country is by Israel, and how controlled we are by the CIA, and how, maybe this deep state shit is a little more deep than we thought. That's what concerns me the most, and that's what I'm really interested in finding out. I think that part has a lasting impact on all of us. And I think that this is one of the few things in the last 8 to 10 years where, like, you have Republicans, Democrats, Independents all lining up going like, hey, could you just tell us the fucking truth, please? Could you just give us some answers? That'd be terrific. All right. Here is Mike. Let's see. Is this the one? Yeah. Then he went on CNN and on News Nation, not a great deal of pushback, but Mike Lawler then goes on to CNN where, of course, he's going to get a little more pushback. And this is how reporters should be handling this. I don't know why they're handling it any different way. I don't know how you can let somebody who works for our government come on TV and just be like, hey, you shouldn't care about this. And you go, okay, on to the next segment.
And as I said, if somebody did something, if there's evidence of a crime committed, then prosecute them. In the absence of that, what are we talking about?
You say there's a lot of nonsense. A lot of nonsense from whom? What do you think? Explain to me what you think the nonsense is here.
Well, frankly, the fact that you're even covering this. I mean, I don't even understand, frankly, why we're spending a lot of time on Jeffrey Epstein. You know, the fact is he was a pedophile who was arrested. He committed suicide. And his, fixer, if you will, is being prosecuted. So at the end of the day, if there are people who were part of any crimes, then they should be prosecuted. But in the absence of that, what exactly are we looking to do? The information is there.
We're looking to get answers as to why the government's covering it up, Mike. What are we looking to? That's what we're looking to do. We just want answers. We don't know what we're going to do. You should give us the information first. Then we'll let you know what we're looking to do. But could we please get the information?
There. It is well documented what he did. And beyond that, what exactly are we looking for?
Understood. Just so you know, it's being covered because the deputy director of the FBI is said to have taken off work on Friday to protest the Justice Department own handling of this, and there have been shouting matches reported inside the White House on this. So whether or not you think it's important, apparently there are people who are quite agitated about it, but I will move on. I do want to ask you, you're on the House Foreign Affairs Committee.
All right. I did want to respond. I appreciate, DJ, you've been trying to get my attention. You did get my attention. And I'd just like to point something out here. You said it's ironic that all of the mods here are single women. One, not true. They are mostly women, but I don't think mostly single. I think maybe a majority are not single. But I will tell you this, that like we've been doing this for years, and I have mods that are men. And you know what happens most of the time to most of the mods I've had that are men? They wind up usually having like some sort of emotional breakdown that they have to take care of, or they get really hysterical about something and rage quit, or they freak out at people in the audience. And so I don't actually pick the mod. Jen controls who the mods are, but historically speaking, the reason that most of my mods are women is because they don't act like children and freak the fuck out every 5 seconds. And most of the men that we've had as mods act like children. So ironically, that's why most of my mods are women. They tend to do a better job. They tend to not react as emotionally. They tend to be more consistent, at least in our experience here with mods. So that's why most of the mods here are women. Shout out W Women. Great job. And you can see in the chat, like, who are the emotional crybabies? It's almost always some incel dude complaining that they're being picked on or censored. So there we go. All right. I wanted to show you this. This was from the CPAC action. Is this the right one? Yeah, this is Steve Bannon's, like the CPAC action committee open mic, and Steve Bannon started asking attendees whether or not they thought that one, we should see the Epstein files, two, is it a big deal, and three, like, is Donald Trump hiding something? And here's the answers.
Do you believe that DOJ and FBI right now, with the guys who we're all close to, Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, do you
Iman says, aren't all the mods married to RTP? No, I'm not that kind of Mormon.
think they have any credibility left to pursue this?
No, and I'll tell you exactly why, Steve, because in 2016, we trusted the plan with Trump. But now Trump has become the deep state. The exact thing we voted him in.
Why do you say he's become the deep state?
What is more deep state than covering up for pedophiles? Why would you go to that island? Why? Tell me, why would you go to that island? Why would you go on the plane?
I mean,
Good question. There's a lot of people that are abandoning Trump right now. My biggest concern about the people who are abandoning Trump, though, is that a lot of those people that are abandoning Trump are like, they're just going to go far right. Like a lot of those people are going to slide right, and that makes me nervous. And they'll go further into like the QAnon shit. They'll go further into the ethno-state shit. That does make me nervous. But at least for we can say for those people, at the very least, they have principles. I said this about Andrew debating him the other day. Like, I think Andrew's principles are trash, but he does have principles, and he does hold to his principles. And I think I can at least accept that more than somebody who has no principles, but just like rolls with whatever Trump says. Here's Jamie Raskin. I think making a pretty good point on that same panel, talking about, like, you know, Trump and Bondi, they're all over this. They're all over demanding this be released. Trump was a little less vocal about it. And now here we are. Where the people who everybody said was going to get these files released and they were going to uncover the deep state, they seem to be the deep state. And that's confusing for a lot of people.
A sex offender. He ran a child sex ring. This is true. Donald Trump and Dan Bongino and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi all were demanding that these files be released. I echoed that demand during the Biden administration. Why should the public not have access to them? After Epstein took his own life, then the case was over. And at that point, this is a matter of public interest. All of this would have come out during that last trial, but it didn't come out. And all of it should come out. I sent a letter to the Attorney General saying all of these files should be released. Certainly the ones that mention Donald Trump, they should be released. How can Donald Trump get away with campaigning for the release of these files and the whole Republican Party be demanding it, and Pam Bondi say that there's a client list sitting on her desk, and then all of a sudden they want to wave a magic wand and make it all go away? So, look, I think this is a serious matter. It's not just about the division on the right. It's a serious matter that we should know what's on there, because either Donald Trump is covering up for himself, or he's covering up for other people, or he's covering up for the fact that nothing was there, but they made a whole propaganda campaign out of it, or he just wants to have leverage over the people whose names are actually on Epstein's list as being part of his child sex offender ring.
Welcome anybody coming over from TikTok. Looks like we lost TikTok for some reason. Did they tell me a reason? Didn't even get a mention. I'm going to finish up on this Epstein stuff. We're pretty close on the goal.
Sexual exploitation and gender-based violence.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was going to go down today. I knew doing Epstein wasn't going to... I can't believe it didn't go down with the debate. I thought that for sure was when it was going to go down. We do have... I'm going to finish the Epstein stuff. I've got about 5 or 6 more clips. Just a reminder, we're about, 55 away from the goal. If you guys could help us wrap that up, that'd be great. And then in a few hours, we're going to be over with Admir on TikTok, and I've got a sick kid, and I think she's gonna wind up being with her mom all day because they slept in the same bed. So mom's probably already sick, so now I may not have a kid, so I may be on TikTok for a good part of the day. We'll see what happens, but let me finish this up. Okay, here is, let's see. Yeah, is this the one? I want to make sure this is the right article. Yeah, so this came out of a Daily Mail article. Here's the screenshot. I wanted you to show this to you. Maxwell. This is about Maxwell, who the Biden administration put in prison. It is important to remember that, like, Bondi is the one that shut down this Epstein case, but now we're legitimately like floating pardons for Maxwell. You saw it with House and Habit, and now you're seeing it with people like Dershowitz. And this is the part that's getting really, really strange to me. Maxwell had requested to the Trump administration for an appeal. In a letter last month, Solicitor General John Sauer requested more time to consider Maxwell's request. She's the only Epstein associate serving time in prison for their role in the late P3O sick network. Her lawyers and family are yet to appeal directly to the president. Now, I do want to also say, like, she was convicted for crimes she did with Jeffrey Epstein, and both of them would be in prison. So she deserves to be in prison for the crimes she committed. She has not been convicted of other crimes, but she should be convicted of those crimes too. This part about like letting her out is really fucking me up. Actually, somebody said like I only cover this when it's politically expedient. Yeah, like honestly, like catching Epstein isn't like a huge deal to me. It has never been a big story for me. And frankly, it wasn't a big story the first time around either. When Epstein died in jail, when Trump was president, I didn't make a big deal of it then either. It wasn't a big deal to me even recently. What made it a big deal is the obvious cover-up. That's why I'm reporting on this, is because there is an obvious cover-up happening right in front of us. And now I'm interested. Because now they're covering it up. I didn't, even when they did the Epstein binders, I laughed at it. We covered that on the stream, and I was like, this is so stupid. Like, they released the same shit that we already did. And I said at the time, like, this is just them, like, throwing a bone to these people who, like DC Drano, who, carry a lot of weight for the Trump administration. They're actively like recruiting people to vote. They helped Trump win an election. This was like a bullshit bone. At the time, I was like, these people, I almost felt bad for them. Like they showed up, they thought they were getting this great thing. They went home, they opened it, and it was absolutely nothing. So that's how we covered that. We covered it for one day. But now we're covering it because there's an obvious cover up. Obviously, people are not being honest. They keep getting caught lying. And every time they get caught lying, I go, wait a minute. Wait, why are they lying about this? This doesn't make sense. Trump's former friend and attorney, Alan Dershowitz, previously told the Daily Mail that he would be right to consider pardoning Maxwell. He believes that her 20-year sentence should be commuted for her immediate release and then pardoned. Now, let's please remember that Alan Dershowitz is also accused. Donald Trump is also accused. So we're seeing in real time that Dershowitz, Trump's friend who's also accused, is saying, oh, you should let Maxwell out and then pardon her. What would you be able to negotiate with an unconditional pardon? You can never tell anybody. We'll give you this pardon, but don't ever tell on us. What other reason would we give Maxwell a pardon? What else can you think of? What possible reason could we have for floating a pardon for Maxwell from Dershowitz? Again, this isn't Trump. Let's not don't be defensive here. This is Dershowitz. Why would Dershowitz, who's some brilliant legal mind, be floating a pardon for Maxwell right now? It's the only thing I can think of. The only thing I can think of is he doesn't want her to say stuff. By the way, she's out there through her lawyer saying, hey, bring me into Congress. I'll testify. And the Republicans are saying, no, thanks. Why are the Republicans not willing to have her come in and testify in front of Congress? See what I mean? Like, it would be one thing if Republicans had some sort of excuse here that made any fucking sense. But I haven't even heard like a good excuse from Republicans. I don't think you guys have any good excuses. I think most of you want to see the truth come out. People like you should never touch government or judging. All right. Fair enough. Your party elected me, by the way. Republican Party elected me. It was easy to get elected as a Republican. Let's finish it up with, how long is this? Yeah, I'm going to play it anyways. We're going to go a little bit over today. I wanted to show you this. No, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do a deep dive by Mehdi Hassan tomorrow. We'll finish up right here. Did I miss anything else? Let me grab comments, make sure I didn't miss any. We'll get out of here. Jen, are we confirmed for tonight with Admir?
Yeah.
We are? Okay. Trump.
I mean, I'm waiting for see if the appeal went through.
Well, I do have my backup account. Be on that. Thank you, Susan. Denise said, wow, just wow, here's your sanity. I think I got those ones.
Appeal not approved.
Not approved, huh? How long is it? Is it 7 days?
July 22nd.
What's the 15th? Yeah, 7 days. Jesus Christ. All right, well, I guess we'll be here. That's better for us anyways. Okay, did I read all your messages, Jen? Did I miss any? Got the Tinder from Care one. Norma, thank you very much. I love you. Stop asking. Said choo choo, not for the dollar train. A reminder to chew thoroughly before you swallow. Most people don't know the Heimlich. I think I'm funny. Also, talking about Blue Chew. Like, nobody's as soft as a conservative. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Those conservative men are soft as shit. That's why every time you go to a conservative podcast, it's like, and now to our sponsor, Blue Chew. Your dick can work again. You don't have to scream at women when your dick doesn't work. This'll fix it. Send me that money. Send me that money, Blue Chew. Lissa said it's beyond weird to have an opinion about another person's medical care. Leave other people alone. Bradley said, I've been taking Viagra for my sunburn. It doesn't cure it, but it keeps the sheets off my legs at night. And by the way, Jen did pull a source on that. I think if that's what he's talking about, that Biden said we could absorb the 2 million asylum seekers. I think that's probably what they were talking about. So, all right, guys, we'll see you tonight, 5:45 over on Admir's. I think on Admir's panel. Make sure you get there early and save your seat. We'll be there debating MAGA hopefully all night. 5:45 till about 9 Pacific Standard Time, and then we'll be back here 9:30 to 1 Pacific Standard Time every single weekday. Make sure you're subscribed so you can catch our debate on Thursday, which will be on Raging Tomatoes YouTube, and I'll be debating a panel of people, and I've been told that it'll be one at a time, so it hopefully does not descend into chaos. We'll see how that goes. Other than that, make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and you have your notifications on, so when we go live unexpectedly, you know that it's coming. FOD said, I always thought Dershowitz should be the focus in the Epstein investigation. He's publicly said he knows, should be pursued. Fuck these PDFs. And Angie said, is there an Admir live tonight? Yes. Pushpop said, great show. Thank you. I think that is everything. All right, everybody. I will see you. What's for dinner? 5:45. I don't know what Admir's eating tonight. I'll see you guys in a few hours. Take care of yourselves. Stay cute and cool, and have a great. Titan, I'll answer your question. What's your question again, Titan? Sorry, I didn't see it. What's your question, Titan? I'll answer it before I go. I'll act in good faith here for you. Anybody know? See y'all in Teen Withers chat. He's awesome. I don't know if Dean heard that I didn't say nice things about him yesterday. What's the question? Is it about Biden? I feel like I already answered that. He wants to know why Biden. I answered that. I think Biden didn't release the files because it implicates the CIA, and I think it implicates Israel, and but everything Trump claims he released, like all those files that he handed out, that actually did get declassified under Biden. But Trump never has declassified anything. Biden's the one that declassified this stuff. Trump has declassified nothing. But I think that the reason that it's heavily redacted and we don't have all the files is because I have this sneaking suspicion that it's about intelligence. If Biden was on it, though, if it came out that Biden was on it, I would immediately change my opinion that that's why he didn't release it. I've just never seen any link at all between Biden and them. There's probably some Democrats on the list too, Titan. If there's a list, yeah, I would imagine that list spans political parties. I think it would be Democrats and Republicans. But I would imagine that Biden, if I had to guess, I would just say that Biden didn't want to release secrets from the CIA. So, but who knows? We'll probably never know. I don't know if this administration is going to release it. I don't know if the next one will. We may never know. So this might have been all just one big waste of time. But I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, bright and early, 9:30, or at 5:45 tonight over on TikTok. Take care of yourselves, stay cute and cool, and have a great summer.